Bro, it's like 3,000 buttons you gotta hit to go live. But we are now live. Hello, hello. How's it going? I am now...
Hey.
I'm joined by a discombobulated voice. And then, Captain by Moonlight, who's on screen. Go ahead
Oh,
and
hi.
introduce yourself.
Oh, hi. My name is Anna. I'm a San Francisco local, fourth generation fish keeper, and right now I'm breeding Medaka rice fish.
There you go.
And I met in my tanks through Reddit maybe about a year ago, and when I bought isopods off him before he had many customers.
True. Very true. OG Isopod Agenda member.
I
And
know I
yo...
hunted you down. I was like, hey, do you have any isopods? You're like, yeah, no, I'm gonna send some out next week. You want some?
Yeah, we've been slinging the isopods, and you're in possession of some special isopods, right? What did you get your hands on recently?
Oh yeah. So I was the first shmoo that was purchased Conrad's Black Lyceris isopods. They are doing well. They're very shy though, comparatively to the other isopods that I've kept. But overall, right now they've acclimated pretty well. It's been about a week and a half.
Nice, nice. Any signs of them
We do
carrying?
have breeding behavior going on. There was some mate guarding.
Okay,
I
okay.
saw one female with eggs, but I can't quite hunt her down.
Wow.
Normally they've got black foam covering most of their tank, just because they're so shy and skittish. But for the live stream, I took it off and put a light on them. So
Bam. And, hey, what's up, Jody P and Jeff Kane in the chat? How's it going, guys? Getting started, and we have a skeleton here also.
Yeah,
Hello.
that's the best thing I could find.
Okay, give your introduction. Make it lively.
I'm Melody. I am in my tank's team member, the most important one.
Yes. Melody
Um,
draws on all the boxes, and she helps me send out things in the mail.
well, that made it sound way less important than my role.
Sorry, Melody is the supply chains specialist for In My
That's
Tanks.
right. And a founding member.
True.
I own a large share in my tanks.
True, very
I don't
large
have any
share.
of my own aquariums right now. I do most of my hobbying by proxy.
Well, you have a lot of plants. You're a plant person.
I do have a lot of plants.
Which I'm not happy about. There's something about dirt. I just can't. I just wish you would just keep fish tanks like a normal person.
I don't know what to tell you.
Yo, what's up, Jorge? Peplin Creek Aquatics. All right, all right.
go look at the YouTube comments.
Yeah, I'm looking at the chat. You always gotta look at the chat, make sure they can hear you. That Jorge isn't talking shit, all that kind of stuff.
Oh, my tank is streaming.
Oh no, is Jorge here? He scares me.
What? Hey, what 86 Element says? Let's go. So let's hop into it. So I assembled this brain trust because recently there is a video put out there titled "Why Does Fishkeeping Have an Issue with Women?" and it was put out by Freshwater Ichthyologist, future Dr. Rebecca, and it started a big conversation in our Discord. We started watching some other videos people made about it, and I was like, okay, I want to talk about it, but I feel like I need some assistance to make the conversation worthwhile for anyone. So I brought the two only people I know.
Crazy.
No, actually, you guys were the most engaged in the Discord about the conversation, pretty much. I mean,
That's true.
Melody, you were getting pretty worked up about some of the commentary about it. So, I mean, one of you start off with what did you think about Rebecca's video?
I mean, I think she had some very good points on mostly how she's seen women being treated in the hobby, and there is like a stereotypical type of fish keeping style that women have. So I was saying, okay, there's some accuracies. Um, Overall, I was mostly I mostly agreed with what she was saying. And she was saying how her presence in the fish keeping hobby should be enough and that she doesn't need to make a video on it. But I feel like once we get to a certain level in the hobby, we should is a hard word, maybe start making some noise to help the younger generation come into the hobby without all the growing pains that we had to experience. So.
Right. So, I mean, do you feel like fish keeping does have an issue with women? And you're like, so now we've reached a point in the hobby we have to actually talk about it, is kind of what you're saying?
I mean, I feel talking about it definitely can help. But the core of the issue is just be kind to people, treat people with respect, assume competency, you know? If they ask for help, help them. Don't be a bully.
Assume competency is going to be a hard one for me.
I know, it's hard.
Just in general. Assume competency, like, I don't know if you could get these old guys to be like, hey, feed black worms 5 times a day and you'll be fine.
I mean, if they're trying to tell you to feed a pleco blackworms.
I
maybe
mean, they're still telling people they eat wood and stuff in the stores. I heard that the other day. The guy at the store is like, make sure you put wood
I
in
think
there.
they're just trying to do an upsell.
Yeah.
Like they're just trying to make a coin.
Melody, what did you think about does fish keeping have an issue with women?
Well, I agreed with a lot of what you said in the video too, and about how, you know, a woman's presence in the fish keeping community, you'd think it should be enough to prove, to disprove a lot of things. But I do think at the point where there are other fish YouTubers, like some of the ones that we were talking about, reacting to her video, who are saying kind of what I think are kind of wild statements, that it is worth it to talk about it from the perspective of whether or not people have an issue with it.
Right. What were the wild statements?
Well, we were talking about how there's some truth to stereotypes about men fish keeping versus women fish keeping, but I know we were watching Skeptical Aquatics, and he was saying a lot of women are the biggest gatekeepers online in fish communities.
Right.
And women are most likely to correct you on stuff, and that did not ring true to me at all.
Yeah, you seem very, like, I wasn't even gonna bring up the specific video, but I guess since you went there, like, you seem particularly offended by that video.
I mean, he said some good stuff, and he said some true stuff, but his bias was so clear, and even his wife's bias, and there was so much assumption.
It was kind of like, it almost showed some of what Rebecca and other people were kind of talking about, where it's like those latent kind of biases in people's head, like the assumption, like, oh, you know, they look this way. I think at one point he was like, well, if she walked up to me, I'd probably be like, oh, she looks a lot younger than me. I thought that was an interesting thing he said. I was like, I don't know if I've ever considered that when someone walked up to me.
A lot younger, but he definitely knows more than him.
Yo, the peanut gallery.
That's exactly it. Like, they talked about how, oh yeah, if I was a man in a fish store and I saw a woman in a fish store, I'd probably assume she knew less than me. And, like, we shouldn't be cool with that. Like,
yeah.
Your face. I'm looking at Captain's face, and I got a skeleton, and it's like, man, I don't know how to play off the skeleton's facial reaction, but
It's gonna be like, oof.
Kind of my takeaway was kind of similar to what Anna said at the beginning, and Jeff in the chat, he said it's not just a fish keeping problem, it's an overall society problem. And then the 86
Yeah.
element said, unfortunately, fish keeping and bird watching draw an older crowd. But I feel like this kind of ties into our later topic. But I don't even feel like, and even with her video, like I don't even feel like fish keeping has necessarily a woman problem or even an old people problem. It's more that like the places people socialize and talk about fish keeping stuff have those problems, you know?
Yeah.
Because like to me, when she's listing like all the people like Diane Wallstead, like all the people that contribute to the hobby in like big ways, are those kind of people like hanging out in Facebook group pages? Like, are they going to your local fish club? Like, sometimes I feel like the absence of people being around makes people think that they're not engaged in something.
And you just look back at our conversation. Like, you guys were talking for like an hour, and you're like, no women weighed in on this. There must be no women in this group. Jobs. We're working.
Exactly. That's why I feel like even though she said maybe I shouldn't have to make this video, like it can still be important because we're like a silent, not even a minority, because what was Freshwater was like almost 50-50.
Yeah. Well, it was hard to tell. Like, I don't know what statistics to trust on that, but I would have a hard time believing it wasn't close to 50-50 in the freshwater hobby at least. Yeah.
Definitely, some people keep certain types of fish stereotypically, but on the other hand, there is some merit to it. Also, what were you saying earlier about? Sorry, I've lost my train of thought.
No, you're good. You were saying stereotypical. There are some people with the fish keeping stereotypes, like what kind of fish they keep.
Oh, okay. I have yet to meet a woman who keeps bass. I don't know. It's mostly a dude field that I found. But I do see that a lot of women gravitate towards like betta fish, goldfish, the elk number catfish, guppies. I don't know. What have you guys seen?
Anecdotally, more women seem to buy our mystery snails.
Oh, that's true.
than men.
That's true. That the mystery snails are definitely bought mostly by women. But at the same time, like the women I know in real life that like keep fish, like they all seem to keep different things. So like for me, if I were to stereotype, like I would actually have a hard time from my personal experience stereotyping like what fish women keep just because I do go to fish clubs and like meet people and stuff. Whereas I feel like some people that maybe just online commenting about it, maybe they don't actually go out and meet people keeping fish like in person a lot, but like I actually meet a lot of people. Some like Small World Aquatics, like Carrie Tova, like some of the best breeders in my area are like women. So like my perspective has never been like that fish keeping fish keeping had an issue with women. But then at the same time, if I go online and I look at interactions on there, I could see like coming away with like that. But I mean, what has your experience been in person then?
In person, I've had a lot of kind of patronizing experiences from just random people in fish stores trying to tell me how to add fish to a tank, and what plants to add, and I'm like, I'm breeding rice fish right now. I'm okay, thank you. Yeah, being told that I should put a killifish in with guppies, I don't think they know their shit.
Right.
Oh,
But peroxide. Back onto what you were saying earlier, about women kind of being not more quiet, but more solely focused rather than socializing on their kind of scientific field or research. Is that kind of what you were going at?
Yeah,
Um,
I do feel like maybe there's distortion because a lot of the men in the hobby use the hobby for socialization more than maybe the women do.
Oh,
yeah.
that's interesting. Oh, that's so interesting. What
Because,
do you
like,
mean?
jumping back to that, there were many women scientists, researchers, etc., they contributed to their field during their lifetime, but it wasn't figured out until later on that these works that were published by pseudonyms or their husbands or their professors, etc., were actually the groundwork was done by these women scientists. And I'm so happy they're getting their flowers now.
Right.
Yeah.
Unrecognized work. So you did talk about, we were in the Discord chatting. It was me, Aaron, and John. Well, Aaron's the one that instigated. He put the video in there and was like, "Okay, guys."
Yeah, okay, so I saw that video right when it came out, and I was like, I could be the person to put this in the chat. And I was like, nah. I'm not going to be the woman who starts talking about woman things. So it was really great that.
Well,
Was it
you know
Aaron
what?
who did it?
Yeah, Aaron was the woman talking about woman things for our our group chat for this, I guess.
Aaron, you can take credit.
Oh my gosh. But I feel like it's kind of interesting because you did bring up how, like, you guys were all working or were there chatting. So, like, what was your thoughts of our conversation? All the men talking about these woman issues.
I was like, they need a day job. What are these guys doing in the middle of the day? They have time to watch this and then just start talking. I'm like, what?
So all I know is that so far, every time you guys talk about women independently, that beta girl who does pole dancing comes up every single time.
That is only
And
within the last 2 days because we're making fun of John. Because we're talking about people who do niche YouTube videos and then start posting stuff, like change their name and start posting stuff to other things. And he was like, talk about beta girl and pole dancing. I was like, what? Like, I never watched.
Name John then.
Yes.
I will never recommend Instagram accounts to you guys again.
Bro, I don't know. I mean, I feel like, for instance, when I'm watching the other videos, and like when I wanted to do this, it's like, okay, how do I like keep it centered on like what the actual topic is about? Like, I really liked in her video underneath, she like listed all of like the women to watch on YouTube. Cause I feel like with a lot of things like this, it's like a topic will grow out, everyone will talk about it, and then eventually like the original person or like the people being talked about are even like the center of it. So
I love her videos. She's so smart. She's so
yeah,
cool.
yeah, she's great. I saw her talk at the Clash, and I think it was
Ooh.
really nice. So I hope she comes back. But since it kind of goes into our next topic, or the bullying and failure of fish clubs a bit, just dipping into fish clubs, just like online, it's kind of like whatever. Like, I'm kind of okay, be kind to everyone or blah blah blah, but like more focusing on like the in-person women in fish keeping in person, like the challenges and stuff there. What are things people need to look in like for themselves or be on the watch out for others, like, okay, patronizing, things like that, but maybe the more subtle things that like get missed or not called out, you know? And I feel like you always making these faces, so I feel like you're holding back like the fire.
I'm like, who wants the nitty gritty? Oh shit.
I feel like you're holding, like, I'm trying to let you cook. I'll try to let you cook.
Oh. I know, but the internet lives forever, so I gotta be like careful with my words.
Hey, I mean, the Peroxide's over here talking about pole dancing, okay?
I know, you have the face of a school right now.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
And they'd be like, which one of his siblings was it? This one? Oh, that one?
Yes.
I do
The
have
one
a
with the
lot.
marker.
I have 6 siblings. Oh, a couple of comments that I just wanted to. First of all, orange is not the best color. That's so wrong.
It's a good color though.
No,
Just fun.
I don't like orange.
Oh, but one of the points before we move on to the next topic,
Yeah.
I do think that the women in fish keeping and men in fish keeping the women are kind of held to a higher kind of standard, almost. Some of the, I'll go into this in detail later, but some of the fish channels that have controversies, we'll say, the channels that have male hosts seem to just keep going, and the controversies just keep getting swept under or building, and just they keep going.
Oh wow.
But the ladies who have controversies with similar allegations get just destroyed and have to essentially leave the hobby. And I've just seen that. I'm like, ooh.
And that's that problem happens in a lot, like pretty much every other niche.
Yeah.
You got
like,
more tea than I do on that one.
We just have eyes. We're just watching. You're like, oh, okay. So she did it, and it was not okay. Athletics.
I'll have to hit down the replay. No, but it's like not totally going to the next topic, but fish clubs. What challenges have you had navigating going to those, or just in-person fish events?
For me, in-person fish events, I spoke on it earlier, kind of getting typecasted as a newbie, but I know my mom, when she was younger in the 60s, she was really into guppy breeding, and she tried to bring her guppies to show the Portland, Oregon Fish Club. And
name drop.
From what I heard, she was pretty much emotionally destroyed, and she quit the hobby.
Damn.
But my uncle stayed in. He kept breeding goldfish, and I learned a lot from him. So
yeah.
But total bummer what happened to Mom.
Well, I don't want to just brush over like, oh, typecast as being a beginner, because like, believe it or not, some people really are oblivious to like what that looks like. So can you like explain, like if someone were in this situation, like, hey, this is me subtly being typecasted as a beginner, like they had no reason to believe that. Like, set the scene.
Okay, it's like in some situations, I don't want to name the store, but it's a very high-end aquascaping store, fish store in San Francisco. And they'll just ignore you. They won't even like bother to ask if you need anything. They will just ignore you fully and focus on a customer that they think is like a higher priority to them financially, which I can understand from a business point of view. But as a customer, trying to build a relationship with a store who's local just is not a good feel. Then on the other hand, you have people coming up who don't work at the fish store, and they try to explain to you what products to buy, when to use them, when you should put fish in, what they would do. And on one hand, you could look at it and be like, yeah, no, they're just really enthusiastic about the hobby, and they want to share information, and they want to try to help people. But on the other hand, the information that they're giving me, I know is incorrect. And this is not helping me at all.
So it's like being careful with unsolicited advice.
Lots of unsolicited advice when you're not being actively ignored. I personally like the gruff forward approach of, what do you need? It's over there. And I'm like, thank you.
Okay.
I just want to be treated like everybody else. I don't want special treatment. I don't want special aggression. Yeah, just treat me like your average fish keeper.
I think that
which is honestly, I stay non-binary online. I get type gendered as a he unless I turn video and voice on, and I am fine with that because it helps me avoid a bunch of like just unnecessary harassment that you get from being a female that isn't spoken for in a space
Right.
I'm just not a fan of it.
It was like we were talking about, like, it's in the Discord, like, I play a lot of games and stuff, and like if you've ever played like
Oh,
a competitive online game and you see like how people act when like a woman comes into the voice chat, like
I
it
know.
totally changes. Like it's definitely not an imaginary thing where like there are some people that act much differently when a woman comes into the fish keeping space. Not that I haven't also had some old man like mansplain something to me, like very simple, you know.
I mean, in the fish keeping space is the only place I want to like have a man come up to me and say, "Do you want to see my fish?" I'd like to see your fish.
Yes. Okay. So unsolicited offering of fish pictures, fish pics are fine. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, but when you're playing Overwatch, someone says, "Here's an Instagram link to my fish." Like,
Oh, don't do that.
Okay, that was a little
Yeah.
sketchy. Context matters. Melody, what has it been like for you at the events you've gone to? Besides when
Well,
that the creepy guy.
Yeah. Well, I actually am a noob, so I can't say that like I've been patronized or whatever, or assumed I was noob, because I actually am one. I could say, would you agree generally that it's a similar, like, this is not just a fish problem, it's like a
This is
sexism
societal
in general
issue.
problem,
Okay.
because I've experienced that in
Wait,
other places.
just hold that thought, because I guess that's important. Like, do you agree that this is like, because I think kind of thing was like, oh, the fish keeping hobby might be worse with this than other things. Like, do you think that's true? Or you think it's just a general, this is just what, you know, women experience in society in general? Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's worse than other spaces. I think might even, I mean, it's definitely better than Overwatch. But I don't think there's anything wrong with, even though it's not worse than other spaces, I don't think there's anything wrong with talking about it in hopes that it could be better than other spaces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Like, continuing off what Captain Peroxide was going off of, kind of like, by us having this kind of uncomfortable, gross conversation right now, other people watching it and saying, "Oh, okay, yeah, this happens to people." And then when they're in a fish shop next time and they suddenly get the urge to tell someone how to cycle their tank, maybe they'll stop. Maybe they'll be like, "You know what? Maybe I'll ask, hey, what kind of fish are you keeping? What's a more appropriate question? Oh, do you keep tropical fish? Oh, instead of, oh, you need this filter, this bacteria product, this frozen food." It's like, let's ask them questions that matter to that person and not kind of what we think that person is. But that's my little teacher soapbox, so.
So
Yeah,
I guess
I
like
would agree.
let people tell you what it is that they don't know, you know, and don't like get to the ask questions that get to that, like, okay, what tank you're setting up, blah, blah, blah. Oh, I'm doing this and this, but I don't know if I should do XYZ or X, you know, that kind of a thing.
There's ways to go about it where you're not being completely overbearing.
Yeah, I mean, you want to kind of approach every, like, if you're at a club and you see a woman, you want to strike up a conversation, like, make sure you're keeping your biases in check. Don't assume that she's a newbie just because she's a woman. Like that, I guess that's the baseline.
Yeah, that's probably like the main
But as
thing
our
that's
resident newbie, what would you like? How
so
can
new, there's not even a tank.
how can the master fish breeder drop some knowledge on you? Like, bro, you're at the meeting, you're not talking, you're just kind of standing there. Like, I mean, what do you want the knowledge holder to do?
I think what you both said is accurate and applicable to any conversation. I mean, you start with questions. Like, I really like sharing facts too. I'm in that boat. If I'm hanging out with other people who I know share similar interests to me, like maybe I'm birding with people, I'm like, hey, do you know about the nesting habits of pigeons? Like, do you know why they do that? And maybe they're like, yes, I'm really excited about that. Let's share our excitement. Or maybe they're no, and then you explain it. Like, you don't just come up to someone and say, did you know you have to cycle your tank before you put fish in?
You have to cycle your tank for at least a week. At least 1 week. And I was like,
My favorite he's a very nice guy, but I was bidding on least killifish, and like I won. And he leaned over. He's like, "You know that they're not actually killifish, right?" And I was like, "Yes, yes, I do."
Right. That could be well-meaning, but it's just so funny.
No, he's a very nice guy, but it's like that's why I said it's a habit for some people. So even though some things seem obvious, you sometimes have to reiterate them. Like even if we already know it, it's just good to have a reminder. Like, hey, I'm assuming something right now. You know what I mean? Let me ask questions first before I, offer and solicit advice. Because Jorge said in the chat, he said, I've learned to keep my mouth shut until I'm asked for advice. That's something I'm working on.
I mean, it's always fine to ask someone, hey, do you keep fish? What kind of fish do you keep? And then go from there.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I keep goldfish. Well, like the regular kind or like a fancy goldfish?
Right.
Oh, a shibunkin. Wow, those are cool. You know?
It's like, have you seen those YouTube channels where they teach you like how to have a conversation or something? I feel like that's what has happened. Or like,
yeah, basically.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, that goes back to what I was saying about how like I feel like, and this is just anecdotal, I feel like the men in the hobby rely more heavily on the hobby spaces for their social interaction
rather than just like stimming to the hobby itself. Just being like, oh yes, I love fish.
That's really an interesting concept because there's so many conversations about men in their social life these days, and like I could definitely see how the fish hobby is like a pretty great space to like find and make friends, where it's kind of like more difficult other areas. Like it's been really easy for me to make friends, way easier than almost anything else I've done, just because I'm breeding fish and like other people are breeding fish and there's literally no one else in our life to talk to about breeding fish. So like I do feel like that could be something interesting to think about. Like, do men in the hobby rely on the hobby itself for socialization more? That's kind of interesting.
Well, and I think that's not necessarily a bad thing, because that's great.
Yeah, having fish friends is fun.
Yeah.
It just leads to that
eagerness,
perception. Yeah.
Okay. Well, one of my pet peeves is like I hate like complaining about things like without offering solutions. So like just to like kind of round us out to go talk about fish club stuff. What besides just kind of what we talked about, like asking questions and stuff like that. Any last suggestions you want to throw out there?
Let's do some shout outs. 3 awesome ladies in the fish keeping space. 1, Diana Walstead. Most people know her. They just say, oh yeah, the Walstead method. But a lot of people don't realize that she's a lady. There's more to her than that. She was trained as a microbiologist and spent a long time doing medical and biological research at the University of North Carolina. Then there's Crystal Castleman, who is, I'm not sure her exact credentials, but she's been collecting and has introduced many of the exotic plants into the aquarium hobby and has written a bunch of books on their in-depth ecology. 10 out of 10, I recommend it. It's a great book, really thick. It shows you pictures of like the plants in their natural habitat, what they look like, the water parameters in those habitats, and then like what they look like in the aquarium and hybridization. Super cool. Oh gosh, and then there's the last one is Jeannie Villepropower. She was a marine biologist, and she's the person who created glass aquariums. That's her.
Oh, wow.
Super cool.
Melody, and then we'll go to the chat, see what the chat thoughts they have on this.
I would just reiterate to always challenge your biases. I think for the most part, people I've met in person in the hobby are really, really nice people. And even like if you've experienced a lot, I'd say a decent amount of experiences that feel patronizing. That doesn't mean it always comes from a bad place. So if you feel villainized or victimized by these kinds of conversations, try to give yourself grace, but also challenge your biases.
Nice. Yeah, I agree with all that. I think it's not very nice to say like it doesn't always come from a bad place, because that's why I put so much emphasis in like really laying out the scene for people, because amazingly some people really don't know, and you know, you just have to. They actually are the ones that need something obvious explained to them. Ironically enough.
No, yeah, I think a lot of it comes from a place, I hope without malice, but it can be very frustrating at times.
Right.
I think people just need to understand there's other ways to express their excitement about the hobby without coming off or without coming across in a way that makes other people not want to join the hobby. It's not. I don't think it's intentional that people will be like, "Ha ha ha! I'm gonna make it so they don't like fish keeping. More fish for me." You know, I don't think they're going at it like that.
Yeah.
But
No.
they're definitely not making friends with the kind of weird, creepy ways they're going about it. So.
Okay, a couple of fish. He said, all he or she or they or them. All my adult friends are hobby related. Not all a single hobby, but common shared interest is the most common vector outside of work to becoming friends. Very true. Shrimp
Oh,
Pimp.
that's nice.
Shrimp Pimp, one of my favorite usernames to say on stream. I haven't had success in that. My hobby never got me any friends that like the same thing as me. I tried, never gotten more than a few sentences with people, then I get ignored.
Oh,
Man.
poor dude.
Bro, you got 3
Yeah,
friends
keep
right
trying,
here.
man.
What do you mean? You got 3 friends here.
I don't know. I met some cool people by talking to a weirdo on Reddit.
I wouldn't recommend talking to weirdos on Reddit.
Yeah, don't talk to weirdos on Reddit. It's
You might
dangerous.
end up on live stream. Yo, Lumi said, I thrive as a creeper. Bro, I'm reporting you to the police right now.
Yes.
Bob Bravo, I like the people I've met through FishTube. There's no aquarium clubs in my local area. That, you know, that's a good point. Not everyone has clubs or events near them, so that is
Or a good club.
very true.
Or transportation to a club.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Gas is expensive right now.
that's true.
$4.60.
Timber takes I just don't talk to people. I pay my dues just to go to the auction, bid, and leave. I mean, sometimes it really be like that. That's totally respectable. All right, Sarah the Great. I think half the issue comes down to experienced hobbyists getting tired of repeating themselves and dealing with some newer people in the hobby. Due to misinformation, they can end up coming across cold.
No, okay, there's definitely some points on that one. Good point, Sarah.
That's true. I'm tired, bro. People in my life that don't do fish stuff, once they find out that I like have fish tanks, all they want to do is ask me dumbass questions. I don't want to. We're like, oh, what are you?
Hey,
like,
Nicholas is the worst person to ask questions, especially quote unquote
You're like, yeah,
dumbass
just do it.
questions.
Bro,
Yes.
the fish. Oh, do you have to feed all them? Yes. Yes. Yo,
Okay, that's
why
crazy.
did someone walk down here and say, why is the floor always wet in here? Really?
Is the floor always wet?
Yes, the floor's on because
Yeah.
they want you to
Oh.
elaborate, Nicholas. They want you to say, "Oh, the fish jump out of the tank sometimes." Oh,
No,
sometimes
it's not. It's just
the
like,
you
tank's
don't have a lid.
overfilled.
no, there's water all around me. This water ends up on the floor regularly. I mean, it's fine. Put a net in, I pull it out too fast. Water droplets fly onto the floor. I pull a mop out.
There you go.
It's
You
dripping
take a
wet.
towel. You wipe it.
See, I can't talk to the perfectionist.
Then you
I'm
wipe
sorry that
away.
your floor is never wet, okay? I'm sorry that I can't live up to
I
that.
can't let the floor get wet. It's carpet.
Oh, damn.
I'm playing on hard mode.
Okay.
Seriously.
Okay.
This is why I have ponds outside.
Okay.
These are like the only tanks I have.
Fine. Fair
Is-
enough. Fair enough.
Big ass gold
Oh,
tank.
is the floor wet where the ponds are?
Always wet.
See? No, that's all I'm saying. Why is the floor
Always
always wet
wet.
out here? Well, Jorge said I have to drive 3 hours and 30 minutes to attend any hobby-related events. God damn. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, but back to what Sarah was saying though. I know at least like so I teach Sunday school to help my mom out. But we had to fire some of the older teachers because they were just being really mean to the kids because they were so grumpy and old
in
just
Sunday
in the
school.
hobby. Yeah. And it was like they were so mean and so grumpy and grouchy that kids would just leave the program and not come back. Oh,
That's
Oh my god.
oh, Stella, come here.
The fact that you could so clearly make the connection between them and people leaving is so, it
Hold
says
on.
so much.
Stella.
I mean, like, I do think.
Ah,
Is it the famous Salem? Oh, it's a dog.
this is
Oh my
Stella.
goodness.
Aww.
Oh my
Oof.
gosh.
It's a
I would
big
say
dog.
like
Big
on
girl.
what Sarah was saying, like, okay, that would be my pet peeve is like people entering the hobby like seem to not be able to read. Like, seriously, like all the questions in the Facebook groups, it's like, did you even try to figure this out on your own? It's like that's why I like when I make more YouTube videos, 'cause I only have 3. Like I'm not putting time codes. I'm not like this is exactly what because like I think people need to stop being handheld so much where it's like they're told exactly what to do because then they just rely on other people to answer things for them all the time. And like I think that's why that like tiring it happens is because people coming in don't put that much effort sometimes into actually learning for themselves. Whereas a lot of the people like that message me on Reddit and stuff that are new, or like some of the people in our Discord, like they're new, they've never done it, but they come to me with like a list of like the research they've done. Okay, I need to do this, I need to do that, you know. So it would be a lot more tiring if they're always coming to me like, hey, what is the nitrogen cycle? Patient 186.
Speaking of floor being wet, dog just knocked over some water.
Oh.
Oh, no.
See, why is your floor wet? Patience is a virtue. Yes, yes. I got a ball of shark and I put it in my bowl at home.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, hey, Shrimp Pimp said, I'm preparing to be a teacher. Look, fellow teacher. I love people asking me questions. I won't try to force myself upon people. Well, that's very respectable. I'm glad
Don't be
you
afraid to put yourself out there, man.
Yeah. It's not forcing yourself upon someone to try and make a friend. You know what I mean? As long as you're not like being creepy, like walk over to them. Hey, I like fish. Do you like fish?
Well, that does work on some people, but you gotta read them.
A couple of fish. See, this is what I'm talking about. I used 4 towels today because I forgot a tube. My floors stay wet. That's what I'm saying. I just bought like a whole pack of ShamWows. Like, bro, I'll go through towels like nobody's business.
Oh, and they're nasty. They're nasty looking.
Jorge
Now.
says, sounds like me. See, okay, you guys aren't judging me for getting my floor wet all the time. There's a few big YouTubers that definitely come across like that. Okay, that they're tired of like newbies and stuff. I read through a bunch of bullshit, then asked an experienced person to confirm. That's respectable too. You did the reading and stuff. You're just asking, hey, is this legit? I do that all the time. I'm always asking people in the Discord, like, hey, does anyone know if this is like a thing? Sarah the Great also said, post a photo of a fish with a few spots asking what's wrong with it, and half the comments say ick, and the other half epistylist with no other context. Oh my god.
I think that's just like the majority of online.
Especially Reddit.
Reddit, Facebook. Well, not so much YouTube.
I haven't really gotten into like the comment section on YouTube too. I've only just now tried to be more active, like getting into people's lives and getting to know everyone. I feel like because like I'm live streaming, I'm like, well, I need to like watch other live streams. I can't like expect people to watch me and then not watch any other live streams. You know.
Fair enough.
What do you say?
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
Hard to find time to do that though.
It is like I like I said, most of the content I watch is like trashy, like hip hop drama. Like that's what I watch. Like I watch 5-hour documentaries on Chicago drill rappers. Okay, I watched No Jumper. Okay, I'm not watching FishTube of my own time. Really, I read fish stuff more than I watch it.
Yeah, you do research a lot.
Yeah, I read and that's because I can read while I do other things. Jorge got to you, Nick, bro. Why they called him Jorge? It's so crazy.
I'm looking at the comments.
Yeah, 5 hours. Wow. Hey, Traplo Roscoe's crazy. Okay. Speaking of things, I put in the title the bullying and failure of fish clubs. That is what I would like to talk about next. Does anyone want to start? Besides me.
Well, you have a lot of experience with this.
Yeah, but I don't want to. Does anyone else want to start?
I mean, kind of just thinking back on the other topic though, like if you believe that you've been bullied or like talked down to in the past by certain people in certain spaces, maybe rephrase it. Maybe they're really excited to try to make a new fish friend, and this is the first thing that they're thinking of. Kind of try to harden up your skin a little bit. Yeah. Sometimes it's not about them trying to just punch everyone they know. Normally it's not that way.
Some people are just really excited to just share facts they know, and like that's how they start the conversation. And that's one of the things I like about the hobby is like you go to an event, there's so many different types of people, like so many, but there is almost always that one person that just they like sharing facts. They don't like social cues as much. And you know, that's one thing to keep in mind is, you know, this it may just be a different way of communicating. And like I like what you said, like toughen your own skin in that sense. What I've been trying to do recently.
My mom likes to say it's be hard to offend. And I'm like, okay, mom.
Be hard to offend.
Yeah.
I've been trying recently. One thing I've been trying not to react to things. So like when someone says something to me, I just try and like think about it for a second, and not just react. And I feel like
that's a very mature thing to do.
I try, you know, 5% of the time. The other 95% of the time, talking shit. No, I have a backlog of scientific aquarium videos I need to watch. Yo, send us the playlist. How does one know the existence of a fish club? That's a good thing to start the topic with. Is what are fish clubs, and where can you find them? Does anyone know the answer to either of those questions?
Archaic, ancient organizations.
Google your local biggest city and fish club.
Okay.
Probably the best way to do it.
Yeah, you could Google your local city. There's a website of aquarium clubs I'm trying to find that actually.
I would say Google your state because I feel like most of the fish clubs in our area, like in PA and stuff, aren't in the. Are they in the biggest cities? I feel like they're kind
of. Yeah, they are kind of random. Fair. They are kind of random.
Which is honestly kind of surprising. You would think, you know, living in between two of the bigger cities in this country, at least one would have the city name in it.
No.
Right?
There needs to. I wish there was a Baltimore Fish Club. Like, bro, I don't know why. Like, I'm sorry.
I am blown away there isn't one.
I'm not trying to go to like Aberdeen anymore. I'm sorry. I didn't even know that place existed. Okay, getting too local. I posted a link in the chat. Aquarium events. That's one good site. aquariumclubevents.com. Very to the point, and they post a lot of events. A lot of them are like local club events and stuff like that. So that's one place you can start. Temper Tank said, I'm a fat guy, so I already have the heavy breathing down. I just walk up behind people. Wire tail, pearl scale, long fin. Yeah, I talk to you. I back up a few steps, but we chill.
Yeah, you're also like very comfortable with tickling dragons and shit. You're just like, ooh, and they smack you, and you're like, oh my god, he's smacking me.
Bro. There's a fish club that meets in Baltimore, but we're saying like it's not in the club name. Like all the club names like Potomac Valley Area Society, Aquarium
Well,
Club of
hey,
Central
there's
Maryland.
something to be said about the people in Maryland who don't live in Baltimore avoiding anything associated with the word Baltimore.
Yeah, that's true.
It's crazy the lengths people go to avoid it.
Yeah, I said someone in the club met in
why do
Baltimore.
they not like it?
They think it's like crime ridden and stuff. It's also like one of the largest majority black cities in the country, so there's some
They
correlation.
assume that if you drive down the wrong street, you're gonna get shot or robbed.
Yeah.
The Wire was a great show, but it probably wasn't the best advertising for the city.
Yeah. I don't think Baltimore is even like in the top 5. Like it was pretty bad for a bit, but I don't think it's even like the top 5 dangerous. It's all like southern cities, honestly.
It was in the top 10 last time I looked, but that could have changed in the last year or so.
Yeah, no, it used to be like top 3, top 5, but now it's not. It's not even close. Let's start a long distance club, Jeff. I mean, I think there's something to that idea. I join immediately. I'm right up in PA. Oh, shout out PA. I kind of want to stop by the Lancaster swap. I wanted to do a table, but I think I'm gonna be too busy. But I do want to stop by. So if you're at that pet place this weekend, I might be there. Get some Amish goods. Oh wait, no, is it Amish there? Or are they something else? Someone tell me.
And they're in Lancaster.
Okay. I didn't know because there's like the Amish and there's
Don't get raw milk.
There's like Mennonites or something. There's
right
something
now.
else.
Oh, you're right. Pennsylvania Dutch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go. Putting something in the mail tomorrow for you. What the? We got the Unabomber in the chat. What's going on?
Come on.
You can find some really good antique planers in Pennsylvania because of the high Amish population.
Bro, that is not how you spell Jorge. I'm sorry. I missed that you said that. I'm sorry. It doesn't start with a W. I'm no spell check, but
I don't know. That's what they're always saying in that crazy
I'll be
group
vending
chat.
that event. Oh, awesome. Well, hopefully I'll stop by and see. Okay. So I think some of the comments in the chat kind of get towards, and I'll start it since you guys are all too cowardly. I'll start with the failure of fish clubs, and that's how I'll set the scene. So, in my opinion, kind of what Melody said, archaic organizations, this kind of shapes the general gist of what I'm going at. Like, fish clubs are not adapted to modern civil society in any way, shape, or form. Okay? The fact that I've met so many people that keep fish tanks, would love to talk with people about fish tanks. They are not at the meetings. They don't know they exist. And if they did know they exist, if they showed up, I'm not 100% sure that they return. And I think that you want to bring in a new generation of fish keepers, but then you resist any change that would actually make your space palatable for anyone under the age of 40. Like, that isn't like me. I don't mind. Like, I enjoy the fish club meetings and stuff like that.
Like 20 plus.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying, something is not exactly going right there. I think one is the structure of them. They got like the whole board thing. It's like bureaucracy. You got the board, you got the president, people that are control freaks tend to be the ones that are present. And then they're so wrapped up in that they're not even designing the meetings around what people actually want. Because in my opinion, what people more actually want is a place to show up and talk about fish with people and make friends and stuff. And it's not And it's not so much about like, okay, we need 50 sponsors, we need 500 items in the auction. Like, I forget who said it, but like, when you're getting people to come for door prizes, raffles, auctions, and that's what they're coming from, like, you're not building like a solid community. People are just coming
Yeah.
for those items. In my
No,
opinion, we need to recenter around the people part of it.
yeah, no, like at my church's functions and stuff, one of the main kind of takeaways is when we have events like that where there's a lot of individual kind of scenes going on, like performances going on. The consensus is always been like, oh, I wish there was less performances so we could talk more. Oh, I wish I couldn't hear talking because they were so loud, XYZ. They definitely do just want to hang out, and kind of giving them a space to do that can be very beneficial. But on the same note of bullying, a lot of people don't being like a lot of new people can come into spaces, and there's many ways to do fish keeping, and they're probably going to be told that they're doing something wrong, and nobody likes being told that they're wrong, and so it can become very easy for them to say, you know what, oh, they're wrong, going back.
Yeah. Now, if there was more opportunity to actually talk, explaining to someone maybe your difference of opinion would be a lot more natural and casual. Whereas, like, this is the only chance of interaction you've had the whole meeting, like this 15-minute gap of silence. And that's when someone's like, what the heck? You were doing this, that, and that wrong? And then, like,
What do you mean, no substrate?
yeah, what you said was so true, because we've got a Discord that we're all chatting in, and some of us have never met in person. So we go to the fish club meeting. We didn't get to talk because it was like an auction for 5 hours. People are screaming.
Oh, the auctions are so long.
There wasn't space at the table, and like we
People
actually
need
came,
bingo.
yeah,
Just
we
want to
came
talk.
pre-planned, like 7 people that all in a Discord. They're gonna go meet in person for the first time, and we didn't even get to sit at the same table and have a conversation once.
Like they put you in paired. They had seating arrangements.
There wasn't space, and then there wasn't enough like just chill time with nothing like yelling or auction going on. And when the auction was over, it was like everything's shutting down and like leave. And just to give shoot the club some bail, some clubs are better than others. You know, you don't want to ever generalize too much, but there are some like common issues. And I think that one thing clubs need to do, and some of them doing actually, I think PVAS does a decent job, is like you got to start getting younger people in the leadership positions. I don't want to see.
Yeah.
I don't, and they're gonna. I know a lot of people are gonna say, well, no one wants to volunteer and like blah blah. Bro, you gotta make the environment something where people are gonna want to hang out enough to volunteer. Like that's on you.
And you have to make it known.
Okay.
Like just bring it back to like high school, college clubs. Just be like, hey, we're meeting at this location from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. or like 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. Pizza, everybody bring $5. That's all you have to do.
Yeah.
No. I have some experience with like similar clubs, like line dancing. In my area, there are line dancing clubs, and usually they're founded by people who are old as hell. And no offense.
Bro,
I'm sorry. Hold on.
Come on.
Whoa. Let me back that up. They're usually led by elderly people because line dancing is a little bit of a dying art, and then the people who come every week are all 50 plus. So we have this one local club that we've been going to a long time, and usually the only way younger people get in is either because they saw online when they're actively searching for it, or because their grandparents brought them and they had a good time and they came back. And one of the like key things that like made me and my friends feel welcome as younger people is that they're really encouraging. Like it's intimidating to come to a club, especially if you're a new person, and try to do that thing while everyone else there is like really old and clearly been doing it for a long time. But it goes a long way if the people there treat you as not just like a new person, but as someone with the potential to do really well and, you know, be friendly and all that. And then, like you were saying, Nicholas, you need them in the leadership. One of my friends was like straight up recruited, like, hey, you come consistently, you seem to enjoy doing it, would you like to like learn how to lead the songs and stuff like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And that's why I said, like, that's why I mentioned PVAS, because, like, someone did ask me, like, or mentioned to me, they were thinking, like, hey, maybe you'd be interested in, like, joining the board or whatever. So, like, some clubs do that. Some have the benefit of being an old enough club where they're not just starting out, like, and learning these kind of lessons, you know what I mean? So they've already had time to look at the future, because this isn't the first time they've had to bring in a new generation. Like, for that club in particular, like, they put up like an old photo, and it's like all the people there that are now like a little bit older, and they like look like kids. Like, it's an old club, you know what I mean? So they know how to bring in new people, and I think you're never gonna recruit someone if they come in and it's just like an altar to consumerism. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I just come in, it's like, thank you to our sponsors. Here's 5 hang on back filters. They do, like, bro, I can always buy something somewhere. Like, people aren't going to get a chance to get that community and stuff if that isn't the focus of the meeting that you're holding, So I think fun things like the games, people sometimes do the Kahoot stuff, like, that's fun. Demonstrations, I've really tried to bring a lot of ideas. Like, there's so many workshops you could run around fish keeping. Like, imagine if you went to a club meeting and it was like, okay, for the next 40 minutes we're gonna have this 10 gallons here, and we're gonna do a 10-gallon setup competition. Who wants to do it? Oh, there's like 3 young people. We're gonna make you do it. Okay, who else wants to do? You know what I mean? Like, just random stuff like that. It's not even that creative. But, like, I would love to see someone live just like make something in a 20-gallon in 10 minutes and see what happens. You know what I mean? And you have all these sponsors. So it would actually be so much easier to say, like, hey, we want to do this very specific activity, or we want to do this workshop. We need 10 5-gallons. We need this much sand and this much rock and stuff, and everyone's going to set up a tank and take it home, and it'll all be your sponsored products with your company name on it.
That'd be fun.
You know what I mean? And this is actually more beneficial to the sponsors, because it's not just some expired fish food or medication that you want in an auction, Good night, Jody, by the way. My bad.
Oh.
Much love to you guys. Too far for me. I'm warming up to that drive. It ain't that bad. A lot of old guys still have secrets. Very true.
That's kind of what Captain Peroxide was going off of. Just kind of, you see a newbie, be nice. Try to leave them with something or try to give them something positive to kind of remember about the situation, the night. A little bit of outreach can go a long way.
It really can.
Yeah. And kind of like another problem with the fish clubs is the varying levels of dedication causes conflict. So you have someone, and I've seen this in multiple clubs, that's like very involved in running the club, and it becomes part of like their identity. So anyone that's like not as dedicated to them, it's almost like offensive, because, like, bro, don't you see how much?
Oh, they're like not trying hard enough.
Don't you see how much work I'm putting into this and stuff like that? And like, that's something you have to avoid, because
work-life balance separation.
Yeah, it needs to be like a group effort, And if you're frustrated that people don't want to help, there's something that you need to look at that you're doing wrong.
Like, if you're not having a good time doing this thing that you've dedicated yourself to, and you're just getting really mad, you probably need to kind of pause and re-examine what you're doing, how you're doing it, how it's affecting other people. How does that make you feel? Just
because honestly, just spitting I'm just straight raw game to any club.
You're just letting your mouth loose.
I've worked a lot in jobs where as a solo freelancer for nonprofits. And the number one thing as a nonprofit, besides raising money that you have to do, is get people to volunteer to do shit for free. The thing that
Yes.
volunteers usually have is a smile. Volunteers enjoy, when the nonprofit is doing things right, volunteers enjoy working for free. If you can't get people to volunteer, you have not made an enjoyable environment for people to volunteer in. Volunteer work
Okay,
is
fair enough.
something that a lot of people really enjoy. So, like, I'm just saying, all the nonprofits I've worked with that are successful and have tons of volunteers, the volunteers are usually smiling when I talk to them. I call them on the phone. Oh yeah, we're gonna do this event. Da, da, da. If that's not happening, something, it could be a personality thing. I don't know what, but finding people to help you shouldn't be where your struggle is starting at, in my opinion.
Yeah. But fish keeping also is like a very interesting space in that like it allows people to have pets where they conventionally could not have pets. Like if they work night shift, you can't have a dog really if you're like gone all night and the dog is like going crazy during the day. Sometimes if you're like doing EMS, it can kind of be cruel to have a pet, you know, that you're gone for so long. But you still really want to have that kind of close relationship with something. Having fish or shrimp can really fill that hole. And then, okay, so my fish store that closed down, Ocean Avenue Aquarium, um, there were a bunch of cops who were fish keepers. And like I did not know that until I overheard their conversations of, oh yeah, Jeff caught that XYZ criminal back in '98, and I'm just like, oh, I just want to buy this fish food. Oh my goodness.
That's funny.
And so it's like you learn a whole bunch of like, so like some of these people, they don't talk to people very often. All they have are their fish.
That's true. That's true.
But like fish people brings a lot of people together who normally would not have pets.
Yeah.
So.
And that's why I argue against, because Shrimp Pimp said it's hard to do aquarium hobby, it's already niche, finding people to be that committed is difficult. That's why I'm saying I don't think it is difficult. It's actually like an extreme, having a fish is extremely popular. And I don't know if people, this is like widespread knowledge, but like not only do a huge amount of Americans at least have fish, but the industry is growing like very fast. Like it grew in COVID and it didn't stop. It kept growing. So I don't think it actually should be hard to find people to be committed if it's actually fun to do. Because like you said, fish keeping brings people together. A lot of times we do talk about fish, but then yeah, it's talking about other stuff. A lot of the old dudes have had really interesting lives and careers. Like you learn all sorts of unrelated, and then of course people are growing plants, keeping ants, reptile. Like a lot of hobbyists have other hobbies, and then those also intersect. So, I think it's like you said, like don't overthink it. You could literally just get a space and have pizzas and tell people to show up, and I think you'd have a successful event. In my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. Shrimp Pimp says my aquarium shop technically gone. Was sold off to someone else who has zero aquarium experience. I asked if I could work with him to help his shop succeed with fish, but he didn't take my offer. Pretty sure he's turning it into a general pet store. Oh sorry about that, pet.
I don't even know how.
Yeah, no, that sucks.
That does suck.
The OG Fish Club, the aquarium stores.
That's true. That's very true. And
People just loiter around there.
I actually started because I've been going to the fish clubs. Now when I go to fish stores, like I do run into people I know and talk to them. So I could totally see the original. I wish that fish stores weren't majority so cramped and you could actually have meetings at them. That would be really nice.
No, wouldn't that be a great way to increase both sales and engagement? Yeah. Be like, yeah, no, we're meeting up at 11 o'clock. Yeah. Nighttime at the fish store,
And I mean
10% off.
If we really want to be nitpicky on what can improve, speakers, they're great.
Can a nonprofit organization sell fish?
Can a yeah,
they could.
Yes, they do. The fish clubs, a lot of them, they get a percentage of the auction sales and stuff like that. Yeah, you got it up. Okay. Honestly, I only go to a club for the auction. I can do without the talking shit up and solely fish. Oh my gosh, get this antisocial guy out of here. That's totally fine too, though. Like I said, you gotta, if you want a broader range of people, then you have to appeal to a broader range. But I will say, if we want to nitpick on things to improve, I think speakers are great. I think they're selflessly giving their time. A lot of speakers don't have fees, some do, but even the presentations, like, bro, realistically, they need to step their game up. Like the PowerPoint presentation, can we bring in a tank with the fish you're talking about? And can we do some stuff to like make this more engaging, for people that maybe don't have that attention span to like look at a projector screen for an hour? Like a lot of them don't even have like videos to play very much, or maybe it will be, and then you have
From
that
a
like,
different era.
what do you say?
They're just from a different era. They haven't adapted to the new kind of attention span
Yeah.
engagement methods that are needed to function kind of in this digital age. They're very much still, I made this PowerPoint back in 1992. It's still good.
Now, to give some credit, that's why I brought in like the, have a tank with it, because I've been to some talks where like, okay, they're talking about killifish, like, okay, everyone make a killifish mop. Here's the yarn, like everyone's making a mop. I feel like that's
That'd be fun.
Yeah, that's what I'm
We're
saying.
like,
That's
ooh,
cool.
yeah.
I'm not saying you have to do some digital wizardry or anything. Fish keepers are very crafty people. You know what I mean?
Because we're cheap.
We're cheap, but spend a lot on a lot of bullshit.
We choose what to spend money on, and we choose what we can do for free.
You know what I think is like a super underrated like thing that fish clubs should do is more trivia.
Ooh.
Because this is a demographic that loves knowing things.
Oh yeah.
I know we went to that one club that had a Kahoot. Nicholas, you remember that?
They love that game. They're like, yes.
Trivia will be so much funner than guest speakers.
Well, and they had both.
Yeah, I was gonna say the PVAS meeting I last went to, the speaker had a Kahoot quiz at the end, and it was really fun. And he did not, his thing wasn't too long. Like it was a good speech. And I will say that's another thing about the talks that need to improve: the audience, bro. Oh my fucking god. What is wrong with fish people? They don't understand. We don't want to hear your story related to whatever the speaker. Save your question. Like the guy is talking. It probably would have been 30 minutes shorter, but every 5 seconds some guy. Well, in 1996, I had that plant, but it. What was it again?
The plant died for
yeah,
me.
it grew. Yeah.
Why did it die? And you're just like.
It's like
And
doing a
those
whole
things
life story.
are nice to hear. But maybe that's why you need more social time.
Yeah.
I just say like.
So get that out during his talking time. Doesn't need to bring that during the presentation.
We need the question section to be respected. All the speakers have a FAQ at the end, and then there's like few questions because everyone just shouts them out during the speech.
You need someone to monitor the conversation. You need a mediator to be like, okay, hold that to the questions and answers. We'll come back to you. You there. It's like you just need someone there to classroom management the situation.
What we need is a showman to create a cult. That's the only way I see a club survive. Bro. I mean, you're the shrimp pimp, so I don't know. Maybe you need to apply your pimping strategies to the fish club somehow. I did make it in 92 and it's still good. I'm sure it is. I'm just saying we're trying to come up with more ideas on how
like the information is still good, but we just need it in a more Kahoot friendly format.
I think a Kahoot quiz is something that many people are doing and more people could easily incorporate. That is,
the kids love it because it's competitive. It's like Timmy answered before Sarah. Timmy gets more points than Sarah, even though they both got the same answer. And now Sarah's going, oh, fuck you, Timmy. I'm going to win. And she's like, it really increases engagement. It's not just like, oh, we all have 10 points. Good job, team. And it's like, no. Lizzie came out of nowhere. She's got 20 points.
Yeah. She answered less questions right, but she did it.
And it makes
Fast.
them so interested in the topic. Like, it really builds engagement.
I think there could be
So.
there could be way more competitions. Like I really like my tank aquascape idea because you could apply it to any fish. Like, okay, I talked about this fish. All right, here's 2 tanks. Let's pick 2 people. All right, set it up for this fish. The crowd's gonna vote on who did the best setup for this fish. Okay, winner gets whatever. I mean, like, bro.
Oh yeah, like that works if your
you can
club
make
has
anything
money.
a competition. Anything. Sorry, what were we saying?
Oh no, it works if the club has money.
Yeah. Well, I think most clubs have enough money to do or, bro, I don't. It will be a club that has 2 people attend, and they'll get like a truck of plants from the Florida nursery. I'm like, bro, there aren't even enough people to bid on all these plants. Like,
Our stuff is really that dense. Wow.
Seriously. The clubs can get donations. They'll be fine. Cahoots not just for kids. That's what I'm saying. Black
It's
Panther.
fun.
Effing Timmy, I feel targeted. Bro, your name's not Sarah the Great? What? How are you targeted? Big Steve said,
Sorry.
very few speakers are of interest to me. What speakers would you be interested in, Steve? Or also Anna and Melody, what speakers? You don't want to hear any speakers?
Repeat the question?
Yeah, it was a question. What speakers would you be interested in hearing if you're at a club meeting?
I really like the speaker. I really like when scientists in the field speak.
Yeah.
Because I'm big into science. Like when we went to that I think it was the ACM meeting, and a marine biologist was there, I was sad.
You were sad?
No, sat.
Oh, you were
like
sad.
I was.
Okay, you're paying attention.
Engaged.
Yep.
Locked in.
Marin Aquarium Hobbyist, one thing I went to, they had a teacher from Towson that did something fish related speaking. That was really interesting. So okay, less YouTubers and more science communicators.
Yeah, I just want people who are really, really knowledgeable about their one thing. I'm like,
Yeah.
You can tell me everything about the least killifish. Not actually a killifish. Cool.
Right.
And I'll say I also like the old guys who just know shit.
Yeah.
Too.
But like at the same time, we have to work with those presenters to make it more palatable for a younger audience who wants to come back and watch it or play with it, etc. So I think having like a 2-piece of like the presenter who's got this really great nugget of knowledge and has all this experience, and then like a moderator to like help them guide the conversation or presentation in a way that's engaging to the people with no attention span.
Interesting.
Ooh.
So then you make the people with no attention span appreciate the golden nugget. With code.
I was getting distracted because Temperate Take said I'm in favor of not worrying about bringing a new generation and putting an age restriction of 30 plus on the club.
Bro.
Yeah, no, just, like,
I mean,
I'm
to
okay.
a degree, look, I'll be honest.
Out, I'm okay with that. But
yeah, to a degree, kids
You're not
really
bring
annoy me
your-
these days. So like, I could get behind that to some degree. I'm still below
we can have
30.
like bring your kid to the fish meet like maybe twice a year. That's fine.
Yeah.
Everybody's on their best behavior. They say nice things.
Yeah. Ban kids except for twice a year. Okay, I could see a age minimum. I could see an age minimum. That's why we
All
like.
like
What you said?
then like you don't have to worry about any of the other like issues you run into with minors in a chat.
Yeah. No, 100%. Shrimp Pimp said we could do Kahoot. It's simple, I guess, but as an artist, I think aquascaping is one strength the club has. Bring in rocks and branches, do some crazy shit.
Oh yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah. I don't really know. Chris Biggs was cool. Chris Biggs was really cool. I missed most of his talk, but he did seem super interesting, and he had a lot of energy. He seemed like a good presenter. Science stuff. So people like science stuff. We could just follow the setup of successful art clubs and copy what they do because most people will get bored easily if most of the club is a lot of amateur TED Talks. That should keep them on a leash. I mean, I think that is. What are some successful clubs of other? Are you guys successful clubs
go
of
off
other
in the
things?
comments.
Yeah,
Elaborate.
Please elaborate. That's a good idea. That is a good idea. But
What art club are you in?
oh, I forgot. Yeah, you guys are artists.
Yeah, you're the minority. Sorry, dude.
I can't.
You just like stacking rocks.
I've been a minority my whole
Whoa.
life. I do like rocks. That is true. I really can't draw though.
You need to put glue on them, man. They're just gonna keep falling down.
Do they have glue on the rocks in nature?
No, but all those foam dudes you're copying have glue.
I'm not copying any foam dudes. I don't watch foam videos.
Yeah, he refuses to use foam.
All those vivarium dudes always using foam.
No, I watch
A
very.
little piece of toilet paper and some super glue, and you just and it'll stay there forever.
Although I did feel like a real fish keeper today. I noticed a leak in a tank, and then I just like got some silicone on my finger and I just whoop, in the water, plugged it, moved about my day.
Yeah,
I
I
was
do
like,
that too.
I was like, nice. I'm not worried about that thing leaking later. I like.
You be like one of those guys who's like, it's not going anywhere after they tie something to their truck.
No comment. No comment. It's probably good I don't own a truck or ratchet straps.
Do you think having 2 meetings in a month would be better? Like one for purely socializing and then one for lecture? Or like maybe auctioning would be in there somewhere. I'm not sure.
I feel like auction should be more like seasonal, realistically. Right. I think I like swaps. Like you can swap stuff, trade stuff at a meeting, but like an auction every meeting to me is like
a little much.
Exhausting.
They're
like
so long.
Part of me is like, oh, more meetings a month would be cool, but honestly, like one for like people that have a life and kids and stuff, like once a month is like probably all they could really manage. Especially if you do have to drive an hour plus or something for me. Like I hate driving. That's a big limiter for me. I would go to so many more clubs in the area if I didn't hate driving so much.
Yeah. Like I think looking at how they separate kind of, or like how would you ideally separate these events in a fish club, like having most of the time for talking and then doing like maybe once every 2 months a speaker, and then like where do you fit auctions into this circle? Mm-hmm. Maybe like 3 or 4 times a year. I don't know.
Right. No, I agree. Because like the thing is, you want to do the breeder awards points stuff, and people have extra fish and stuff every meeting they want to sell or trade with each other. So like the auction is one way to facilitate that, but it's such a time commitment. Like it feels like a waste of time sometimes, and not because there's not good items or whatever, but just like I don't.
Takes so long to just facilitate.
Yeah, and we don't need to buy. I don't need to buy this many fish every month at the auctions. Like realistically, you reach a point where I'm like, okay, I don't. This isn't worth 2 or 3 hours of me sitting through this auction every month. And if you go to more than one,
what do you do as a fish club if people just keep bringing in fish that don't sell? You'd be like, hey, Timmy, I need you to stop bringing in guppies, please.
That is something I wish that they would do, because there are like sometimes too many repeat items, and like
I know it's like, and yes, Timmy for the 8th month in a row has brought in 12 yellow bristlenose plecos. Does anybody want another yellow bristlenose pleco?
Like, wait, hold on.
No, Timmy's going back home with them. You know, just.
I want to catch up in the chat just a little bit. Jeff said, I like specialist scientists who keep and breed the fish they specialize in. I ignore the ones who don't keep fish aside from environmental data. Okay. Yeah. He said I need to sign up for LRB's rock pile class. Foam is the most useful item in this hobby when it comes to decoration. It's cheaper than paints, can fit in line with art of sculpting. In turn, we can copy sculpture classes or clubs. Wow, with foam too. What about longer meetings every other month? That's
Oh,
interesting.
that's a good one.
That's a good one, Steve. Temper Tank says our club does monthly meetings and 2 auctions a year.
Ah, that's nice.
Only 2 auctions a year is pretty. I think is pretty good. Because a lot of the clubs around here do an auction every meeting, but then they also do have an all-day auction that's like a spring or winter auction, and it kind of does feel
Yeah.
like, especially if you're breeding fish, why would I put fish in this auction the month or two before the all-day auction where like 100 people are gonna show up? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I do feel like having auctions every meeting kind of down is a downside to those big events. And the auctions are
It
completely
really just
separate.
takes a long time.
Yeah. The auctions are separate days. How does foam impact the environment?
But it won't degrade. It's toxic for things to eat. It can cause gut impaction in most animals.
Great.
When it burns, it creates yucky chemicals that are very toxic. It floats.
Lumi says we need more online clubs for people that cannot travel. Honestly, that's one of my takeaways. Is like from
We want to
this,
do it.
I think some kind of virtual fish club or meeting virtually could be interesting. It's just so hard sometimes to make those work at the same time, especially in the Zoom. The Zoom era was brutal. Oh my god, everything was in a Zoom call, a Zoom breakout. Oh my god.
Nobody knew how to mute.
Yeah, that was terrible. We don't want that, but at the same time, it feels like there are a lot of people that either there's nothing near them, or they can't travel, or they hate driving like me, or like distance is us.
Alberta, Canada.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh damn. Okay. Okay. Yeah, auctions being separate days I think are cool. I like video chats where you can have live back and forth interactions. Yep. The bag of 50 guppies for $2 of the predator fish keepers is for predator fish keepers. They should never not sell. The secret is like all the fish clubs have like 1 or 2 hoarders where no one knows where the fish goes. Like they buy fish every meeting. They never bring any fish to the meeting, so it's just kind of like, where are you putting all these fish? Like, there's definitely some people I've seen at the meetings where they're always buying fish. They never bring any back, and I just don't understand how they could even have a place for all this shit.
Doesn't John look like a piscivore?
Yes. No, he has a doctor. That's the fish doctor. He feeds sick fish.
Well, that's Sauron.
That's like a doctor in training, I think.
Oh, okay.
He's working on his.
He's working on his PhD.
This is a residency, right? Another problem is club saturation. You have 3 or 4 clubs, and it's mostly the same people. If those clubs combine forces, it might be So like the big issue in our area, like bro, tea spill, not really, but like there's 2 clubs, founded by people who were going to found a club together, Mandy and William. They didn't work together very well. Now they both have their own clubs. Totally useless. Mandy's club is bigger at the moment, more successful. Location's horrendous. No one wants to go to Aberdeen. William's club smaller. It's in Baltimore. The location's decent, but you have 2 clubs competing against each other, and it's kind of like, which one do I go to? Because like honestly, I don't want to go to like 5 meetings every month. I'd love to go to PVAS more often, but usually I'm exhausted by going to the 2 clubs that are in my state. Like, we really need one big club in Maryland that's actually like in a more central location. Some people in the chat, they're like, I have no clubs near me. I'm here with my problem. It's like there are too many clubs near me.
Yeah, I think that's a you problem.
Yeah, people need to learn to work together, and that's why I say like, you gotta focus on what people actually want. So,
Or like, on that note, having the fish kind of scientist or speaker present digitally, and then them going to the fish meeting afterward and being like, "Does anyone have questions? You all saw my YouTube video." That would be a cool thing.
Okay, digital presenters. I've
Fish
seen
club homework.
Yeah, I've seen a fishery did a digital presentation to some club. in California, I think.
Yeah, apparently he was in San Francisco when I was not in San Francisco. I was so sad. I was
Damn.
like, I missed him. I was in Seattle, and he
Damn.
was in San Francisco. He's from Seattle. That's why it was.
Kind of club meetings. Some channels the host gets totally ignored and the chat does its own thing. Oh my gosh, bro. Another problem is saturation. I read that. Zoom hangout with friends before. Use it for work. There are more than 2 fish clubs in Maryland. Yeah, what's the full list? It's ACM, ACSM, or whatever it is. I'm trying to think of what the other ones are. One big Baltimore club. That's what I'm saying, bro. I want one big Baltimore club. All these racist people need to get over it. Baltimore is cool. It's a central.
Is Baltimore Aquarium Club not being used because like no one wants to call themselves Baltimore
Pretty
because it
much.
has strange connotations?
Yes, pretty much. Like, there's a popular show called The Wire that's about like crooked cops and drug dealers
You
and
could
stuff.
make the Baltimore, Maryland Aquarium Club.
We
It's
don't need
open.
another. We don't need another club.
Heard.
This is why Baltimore is a good location, though. Is like basically, if you have to go like where I am, I'm below Baltimore. If I want to get up to the meeting above Baltimore, it's like I gotta go a toll road. There's like traffic. I gotta go around. If it's in Baltimore, it's like actually not that bad, you know. And it's the same as being up because I used to live above Baltimore too, and it's a pain to get like down through Baltimore to something more Annapolis area. So Baltimore is a great central location for a lot of people. Like, it's easy to get into, annoying to get around, basically. It's kind of how I perceive it. Oh, I forgot the cichlid. What is that? The something cichlid association. I didn't realize that was an MD. I didn't realize that was in Maryland. My bad. Tanner, man, if you have a Baltimore club, it's gonna be all red-tailed catfish and jaguar cichlids. What? What? Now, Tanner, that's not MAH isn't. Is it really? It's not a club exactly. Like, it's more of like a reoccurring event. MASI Aquarium Society is an in-person club that streams
We'll buy the
meetings as well.
puppies.
Yo, I gotta dip out.
All right. Thanks for
problem,
joining
yeah.
me, Captain Peroxide.
Yep.
Have a good night.
Have a good night. Oh, jinx.
LOL. No latency, we're good. You don't owe me anything. No coke. Okay, really great talks there. Not true there by guppies. You can make bank on guppies in Baltimore. I think Baltimore is a seriously underutilized. I think that there's a lot of younger fish keepers not involved in any clubs in Baltimore. And when I've talked to people about going to club meetings, like when I've said, hey, it's over in Aberdeen, they've been like, ugh. When I've been like, hey, this event's happening in Baltimore, they actually came. So, like, the location is like a big part of it. You got to make it easy for people, you know. And 100% there are a lot of younger fish keepers in Baltimore. It's a pretty young city in general. A lot of young professionals over there.
Love to see the hobby growing.
Yeah. You're like, this is like super local. I'm in like San Francisco. I have nothing to do with Baltimore clubs.
I like watching people like fish.
Would you attend a Baltimore fish keeping club that streamed its meeting? Would you be a virtual member?
Yeah, sure, why not? I'd hang out with friends. Be like, I'd vote on things. I'm not there. But I'd vote for them. Be like, yeah, do him.
You vote on things. Yeah, I definitely would. I feel like there's definitely some progress there. Like, let's put that out there. One big Baltimore fish club, please. For the love of God.
Yeah, no, try for it.
Yeah, anything in San Francisco you want to change? One big San Francisco club.
I mean, we have that, like... Honestly, I'm not a fan of any of the fish shops right now in SF. I just don't have a good relationship with any of the owners.
Okay.
Um,
But I feel like even just this talk is a good example of the people like wanting like a virtual fish club. Like
yeah, I think having a virtual fish space is nice.
Yeah.
Especially if you live in a city that's kind of dodgy, Baltimore. San Francisco, New York,
Oh, come on.
Chicago. Just because like some people don't feel safe going, especially if they're like alone, to a random location,
That's
which
true.
generally club meetings rent a fairly. They don't rent out the Hyatt, you know. They're not renting out the Marriott.
I guess a good note
Um,
is like very detailed like pictures of parking and the location so people can see like, oh, this
yeah,
place, because the one is
you
like
like
at a
you
at a
park
very,
here and then you know, like that way.
yeah, because the one
Um,
in the Baltimore one, like they meet at like a bar, and it's a very nice bar. It's got a parking lot that has like a gate
okay,
on
cool.
it. Like it's a very, if people saw a picture of that, which I guess if you Google the location you'll see, but not everyone is like, they just hear Baltimore or just a city in general, and they're like, ah, my car's gonna get jacked.
Yeah, that can happen. Sometimes doing fish stuff. Take the L.
Oh my gosh.
Sometimes it's not your day.
They're talking in the chat about feeding guppies to things. Like, what's wrong with these guys?
Blame John.
Okay, how you feeling? You ready to wrap this up, or
Yeah, sure. And we can
uh,
talk about
we have snake
unrelated
oil?
things.
Yeah, we have snake oil, the snake oil thing technically, but I didn't know. I'm just temperature check how you're feeling. Like, I'm just checking out that chat right now. Like, chilling.
Well, we're doing pretty good. We were at 19, now we're 15. That's still better than your other stream.
Well, obviously I had the captain's
An
duh
enrichment.
boost. I mean, I feel like I'm trying to go through everything I said, see if I like said everything I needed to, or if I said anything wrong. I should
Yeah.
shoot myself
But
some
like thinking
bail.
back, online classes have been doing that too, where it's like the teacher will give you a lecture to review and like go over, and then you come in for the discussion. Everybody's all on the same page, and we're like, okay, chapter 12, what did you think?
Interesting.
Um,
Yeah, incorporating discussion more, because like the question section of like a lecture or a talk, like sometimes it's hard to come up with a question. Like when it's a discussion, like what does everyone think about keeping this fish and this, something like that. Like that could be interesting. I think more people would.
some people are just really quiet though.
Yeah.
You just have to pull teeth to make them talk. You're like, please, can someone say anything?
No, now it's a competition again. You break them into 4 tables. You give each table a position, and they have to come up as a team with what the best argument for that position is. So like you take a fish, and it's like you argue
Oh,
that it
actually,
has.
that would be fun.
Yeah, like you
Kind of like
argue that it
breaking them
has
up
to
into
be
teams.
in a group of 6. You argue it has to be in a 1-gallon jar. You know what I mean? Like that could be interesting.
Also, like team aquascaping. Be like, okay, we're gonna make a tank for rams. How would you scape it? What do rams do? Where do they eat? Where do they XYZ?
Yeah,
You're gonna do cribs.
yeah. Okay, team.
Hill stream lotion.
Now we're talking, because the
And it's
aquascape
like, okay, well,
competition thing.
where do those fish live?
Oh,
Make people think.
yeah, and
Uh,
the team aspect is fun too, and then they gotta like explain why they did each
Winner
thing.
gets shrimp substrate. I don't know.
We don't do substrate in tanks anymore. I don't know if you heard. If you come out the AAC LC spot
Fish,
this
like
weekend,
the L-type catfish, I can understand why you wouldn't do substrate. It can pack them and stuff. So
yeah, or axolotls.
yeah, they need like a very.
I couldn't believe it. What if someone told me
You
the
should do
first
like
time? Like
medium course sand, I think, for axolotls.
apparently they like
Because they
choke
get
on
that gut infection
everything.
really bad. They're really
Yeah,
dumb.
yeah. I couldn't
They're
believe.
really
I was like,
cute.
how do they survive in nature if they choke on everything?
Evolution is not a perfect science. It's
Oh
like
my
throwing a
god.
bunch of stuff and seeing whatever sticks. Barnacles are an example of that.
My god. Hey, I'll definitely introduce myself if I see. Are you gonna be at a table called Just One More Fish? Are you gonna ask me to buy just one more fish? Cause I don't know. Do I got one more fish money? I don't know. Sick twisted at the channel size you are. I'm not sure you could be picky yet. Oh come on, bro. Come on. I can have self-respect still. I'm doing this for the passion, not the clout.
I know he's got no money right now. Only
Yeah.
isopods.
I'm sitting on the floor.
The wet,
The
foggy,
wet floor.
damp, sticky floor.
I do get my socks wet a lot. Like I try to wear shoes so it doesn't happen, but then I like, it sucks when you wear
Crocs
shoes.
exist specifically for this environment. This is a Crocs. This is where you should be using Crocs.
I know. I've been thinking, but I hate. I don't know. I gotta find a slide or something, cause it's killing. Cause my feet are like in socks or shoes all day, and like, it just feels like I'm overheating. Is this too much personal information about my feet? It's always a mess.
That's okay. We won't see you for another day or two.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I'm about to go ghost. You'll never hear me talk about fish again. My takes are.
They'll be like, "What happened?" Jessica beat the shit out of him. Won't see him ever again. He was a good man.
There's so much that I can't say under pain of death. No, I'm joking.
Have your sister sign into your Discord.
That's true. That's the problem with knowing too many people in person that are like in this little Discord, because like then they can like check up on me through other people that know me in real life. Like, hey, where's Nick? Where's Nick been? Oh, he's been Xbox. Like, bro, all my ops in there could just track my movements.
Yeah, I know.
In the chat, let's see. My tanks are a perfect example of this is what I was aiming for. This is what I got. Yeah. Yeah. That's because they don't. The animals they come across are the ones we're feeding. There's a reason they're almost extinct. Oh my. You shouldn't be able to miss my booth, and you will always need one more fish. Oh my gosh. Shameless. The shameless salesmanship. But I can't disagree. I have a lot of fish I want to buy. Tell us what fish you got that are cool. That's my challenge to you. I always think of axolotls from the reptile side, and it's always like no sand because they eat it and get compacted, and no pooping be happening. Wow. No pooping be happening.
They have really, like, they're soft. They're so soft. Very cool science. Like, evolutionarily, very cool. They just kind of got stuck in their, like, tween phase. Never made it to full salamander. But then people started breeding in that red tiger salamander genes to get the axolotls that were, like, I think it was T-negative albinos. And, like, all those really interesting color morphs. And now we can't release them back into the wild because they're technically, genetically way too different because they've been hybridized.
Great. Great.
And it's like the Mexican lake that they're from is so polluted at this point that the ones they do release back that are genetically the same, they don't make it. They just very sad.
Every time it's about the water source something comes from, it's like the word pollution's like the next. Like every West African fish I love, it's like, yeah, they're dumping coal, dust, and oil into the river. It's fucking depressing. My friend is in Ghana. He really sent me photos of like. He was doing some traveling. And
I think it was like the people in the local area are using the river for both fishing, and then like they're being pushed out of the place where they were working, and now they're in the lakes, and so the people are washing their clothes, eating, like using the river just for what they need it to use. Yeah, they're just using the river.
If you're a fish, the worst thing that could happen to you is that you're located near rare earth metals.
Yeah.
That's like the
those poor Sulawesi fish.
Hey, is that some cobalt we see in there?
Ooh, lithium. The worst part is the aluminum mining. That's like really terrible for the environment.
Great.
But
let's turn the lake into a battery.
Lumi's saying that you should get flip-flops. Croc brand slides are unparalleled.
Well, you're not with the Croc brand slides?
I don't know.
What?
My mom got me some Crocs with like the fuzzy lining on the inside. They're the best.
Okay. So it sounds like you're with it. Okay. I gotta buy some. I'll make that my mission this weekend. Because there's been a problem. Because like when my feet are in socks all day, like it makes me more tired. I don't know how to explain it. Like my feet. Like,
and part of this video has got to be like socks, Crocs, flip-flops.
Do I have to wear socks with the Crocs?
No, you can. You just put them on top, but then you might
Wait.
get hit by like someone, like some person randomly might come out and just punch you. That's possible with that happening. You just wear socks and Crocs at the same time.
Oh my god. I have many pairs of Crocs, but like the Cloud flip-flops more.
I've never tried the Cloud flip-flops.
You say make the lake a battery, but never underestimate the government. Remember, Cali used to be a lake. What? Is that true? Cali used to be a lake. Ever since the movie Idiocracy was the reason Crocs first came into existence, I never seen them in the same light again. Why am I not surprised Crocs exist because of something like that?
I just know they're made out of a very strong EVA foam that has many different properties. And also, if you get them hot, they shrink. Valley was pure marshlands and rivers. That makes sense. San Francisco is built on trash. Trash and sand. That's why we can't have a subway system.
I mean, that kind of sounds like my fish tanks. My rocks stand on trash and sand.
You know, we could put a house here. What should we use for substrate? Bedrock? No, trash.
I'll be honest, I'm starting to throw PVC, and I was saying up at 10, I was like, PVC caves everywhere. Why not?
No.
I wear fuzzy
California
socks
was
with
pretty
flip-flops. My god. What you say?
California was pretty cool. Before it got rearranged for human settlement.
Isn't it just the
people always
thing?
thing.
Why do we gotta settle? Honestly, I prefer being unsettled. I'm unsettled all the time, talking to these people.
Right, isn't your settle coming tomorrow?
I will be settled tomorrow. I will.
You will be settled tomorrow.
I will. Jessica will be back in town. I said before, like, I think we've been dating for like 5 years. Like, I never talked about a fish tank at all, like, once. And then when she was overseas, like, for school, I got into this, and she came back to like 20 aquariums.
At least you're not an alcoholic yet.
I'm 2 years sober.
Or on the other hard drugs yet. It's magical.
I wouldn't say I was ever alcoholic, but I was looking at my genetics, and I was like, I'm just not gonna drink. And then I had health issues was the real thing. I couldn't drink anymore anyway. But I was also already kind of thinking, like, with my genetics and addictive personality,
Too prone to it.
Yeah, I should just
buy fish instead.
I feel like I had like enough drinks for a lifetime.
Yeah.
Especially if you're like younger.
You a party guy?
I wouldn't say that, but like, bro, it was like COVID hit, and I'm like alone in an apartment for 2 years, with, like, nothing to do. I mean,
I know Bevmo makes so much money on COVID.
I just streamed video games and drank in my free time. My 75 has big PVC caves because PVC caves.
I'm glad Jessica stayed with you through all of that. Good on her.
So far.
Or maybe not.
So far. I think
rooting for her success.
Rooting for her success. That's what you always
say.
I
hope she does.
You got me saying that now when people say stuff, like, I'll be like, rooting for your success. So, like, I know.
It's a very neutral statement.
It feels passive-aggressive sometimes, though.
It's a little bit. But when you hear it, like, I'm rooting for your success.
You're too much of a perfectionist for me. Like, I just can't live up to your standards, you know? So if you're, like, rooting for your success, I know you just think that I'm an idiot. Like, good luck.
No! A little bit. Another thing you can say to kids, though, if you, like, don't have a thing that you're like, this is, like, good job, little dude. You did great. But you don't want to say the same thing. You can say neat. Whoa, that's so neat.
Okay. That's so neat.
Yeah,
that
rooting
sounds,
for
that
your
sounds
success.
patronizing. I can't say that to an adult. That's so.
Yeah, you can't say.
If someone's like, "Oh, that sounds so neat," I'll slap you.
Rooting for your success is like, I hope you succeed.
Yeah.
I don't know how to help you.
I can't throw hands at someone for saying rooting for your success at me. California removed all the wetlands due to rapid floods. So we converted it to a desert and forgot it was ever marshland. I definitely forgot. Now our problem is that we were sending so much water to the ocean way too fast, and we need that water for our wildfires. It's already gone. And then Jeff said, "Good job, little guy." Oh my, bro. Catch me outside. How about that? Hmm. Hmm. You say "good job, little guy" to me in person. I'm gonna have to.
Yeah, no, our wildfires are shit.
Have you?
I was like, oh.
Those near you?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So we're up in kind of the Mount Shasta area quite a bit. And we have a cabin up there that routinely gets very close to burning down.
Damn.
This fire season, the fire passed twice, once within 3 miles and once within 5 miles. Kind of a matter of when, not a matter of if it's going to get burned down or hit by a volcanic flow event when Mount Shasta erupts again. So, fingers crossed. But we brought everything that's like
Rooting for your
aboard down.
survival.
Rooting for my survival.
Rooting for your survival.
You should do a live stream though, like later on, another topic of like what would you do, how to prepare for a fish disaster, like what do you do when the power goes out, if there's a hurricane, what are you gonna do?
I would just be unprepared. Like I'm the wrong person. I would just be unprepared.
What would be like a good conversation for a stream?
No, that is. But you're gonna have to be the one saying how to prepare, because I just now got like a backup little power thing for the air pump.
Good.
I only have the air pump plugged into it, and because the power just went out, and I've been meaning to set it up. Luckily, I had some charge, but I almost had to like manage all these tanks with no power. And what I'm realizing, because again, I have no science background or anything, but like slowly I piece things together. But like, okay,
Oh my goodness! Just one more fish says his power goes out 40 times a year. Wow.
Jesus. Yeah. See, that would enrage me. I kind of have anger issues with minor inconveniences. Like,
is that like the squirrels are at it? Like for the power to go off that frequently? They're just like, ah.
The squirrels are just chewing through his power.
Oh, seriously! Like my mom used to like have power outages constantly because the squirrels would just chew through the line. You just see one just a little crispy right next to the line like the next day.
How would that? 40 times a year is a lot. But I'm realizing now that the fact that I have so many floaters, like
24 hours last month,
so many of my tanks are covered in floating plants, like I really can't let the air go off in all my tanks. Like,
you can't lose the light for more than like 3 days. You'll start having melt.
Because like I remember one day I was reading like about invasive floaters, and it's like, yeah, the floaters, they get rid of the light and they take all the oxygen from like the fish and stuff. I'm like,
I think it's not that bad in terms of depriving tanks of oxygen. I think the bigger concern is like bacteria consuming the oxygen, like the fish consuming the oxygen.
Right.
Plants do respirate at night.
Yeah.
But
definitely, like, things go bad so quickly.
Yeah.
And one or two of my tanks, things have gone bad so quickly after the
look
air.
at that bucket where you haven't played with your isopods at all for like 4 months or something.
I know, but that one actually doesn't have a.
There's no fish in it though.
Yeah, I think that's the problem. Is like the stocking in those. Like, there's too. Like, my worst thing is I had caught a bunch of white cloud minnows, and I had them in like a big specimen container, but there was like red root floaters across the whole thing, and I like set it down, and I went to go do something. I got distracted. I never really think about it because, like, you know, you catch it, it's fine. I came back, they were all dead. I was like, it was 14. I was devastated. And because it's like the thing that's unique about fish keeping is like when something like that happens, I'm the only one responsible. So like it's really hard for me. It was so hard for me to deal with, like, literally because of like my incompetence.
I don't think it was the red root floater though. I don't think that red root floater too.
But I just killed 14 fish. You know what I mean?
That very sad.
But it's more just the floaters are what just made me think about the oxygen content in water and like you can't just take that for granted depending on how many fish you have in something.
Yeah, I need to get one that's manually powered. Then I'll feel really.
A manually powered air pump. Lost for 20, dude. Losing. I think 24 hours. My thing could last for that, but multiple days. I need more backup batteries, basically.
I think you can go for 24 hours at least, unless you have like a really sensitive species, or maybe fry would have problems.
I'm just worried about like tanks with. I don't think I really have.
Like the really temperature sensitive ones.
No, I don't have temper, and I don't really have heavily stocked tanks. But I don't know. I've had issues like with things failing overnight, and like the next day stuff is like dying, and I'm like, what's going on? And it's like the air pump, like a tube came loose or something.
Ooh, I hate that.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like things
Every
seem to
time
go
it gets hot,
bad
I was like,
seems
check
to
your
go bad
line.
very quickly after losing air.
You also have a lot of tanks, which just increases the amount of like
Yes.
stuff you have to.
Well, that's again the other one is like I set something on top of an air tube and didn't notice. And what I do in the morning, like when I look in the tanks, I always check to see if the air is running now, of course. And I saw it wasn't running, and there were some fish.
Of course.
I saved most of the fish were fine, but like they're definitely, I could tell, starting to be stressed out.
Yeah, no, that's why I like snails.
Yeah.
Just because they will let you know if something's going horribly wrong. You're just
Yeah.
like, oh shit, everybody's at the surface.
No, that's the biggest, like, to anyone getting into fish is like watch your tank as much as possible, because then when something is wrong, you'll know immediately. You like look at it, you'll be like, what the hell is going
Like,
on?
why are all the isopods hanging out on the red root floaters?
Yeah, why are they
The air is off.
Why have they evolved wings? Fly to a new
Why is the
tank.
Cory catfish hanging out on the red root floater?
Yeah. Well, that's why I said I could always
Floor
tell
is loud.
when it's going to rain, because the Corys, they'll start glass surfing like crazy every time it's gonna
Oh, really?
rain. Yeah, that's why I said the other day. I hadn't even checked the weather, and I was like, oh, it's gonna rain, because I looked at all my tanks. Because if you have multiple different Corys and different tanks and they're all doing the same thing, it's like, okay.
Oh, it's fun.
They caught the vibe. We aren't quiet about it. We also have elders here that need power for heart machines. That's another thing. That's because like we lose power and it's not even like a dramatic, it's like windy, and I'm like, bro, aren't there people that like rely like for work from home, or just like the power going out is a really big deal? But like, yeah, people rely on it for like heart machines. Like, put it under the ground, please.
Where's the fallout shelters? Oh, other news. My impulse sealer is coming sometimes this week.
Hey.
Oh.
Heat seal gang.
Honestly, like, I think the only reason I would go to a fish club meeting now would be to sell stuff.
And
you're like, okay.
And that's
I
why
have
they
green
have auctions.
water.
That's why they have auctions every meeting, because people like you.
No, I'm just like, green.
Oh, even worse, you're one of the green water people. See, that's.
It's free. I don't think
so.
people
Now
understand.
You want to sell it to me? Why don't you just give it to me?
Right now, it's just popping up. Got green water everywhere.
If it's
I
free,
need more
why
bottles.
do you need to go to the meeting to sell it? Just give it to me. If it's free, I mean, what's the problem?
You're so far away.
Yeah. Okay. I thought it was
It's
free.
expensive.
I thought it was free.
I'll send it in a bottle, and it'll be like.
Yeah.
It'll probably get bounced back to me.
Well, that's why I want to talk like so much about the club stuff, is because, it really means nothing with when someone with no investment talks about it. But it's like, bro, I'm like the kind of person, like you just said, that would come and sell stuff all the time. But I'm saying like, hey, I don't think we need this many auctions. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
It doesn't really mean much if someone that like couldn't breed a ram's horn is like, yeah, we don't need this many auctions. Like, bro, we're not talking about you.
No, yeah.
But even the people that sell stuff, I think, would agree that, we'd rather just have less auctions sometimes.
I wish we could just sell to our local fish stores. but a lot of them are
25%.
not.
25% landed in credit.
Mm.
That's what people always like.
Like, just trading. I would trade snails for food. I could trade a lot of snails.
I mean, I think that's part of the problem. Is like if they make it known that's like a regular thing, then they're gonna get people with like all sorts of funky. I know that's why the one guy like he's hesitant to take fish in a store because he's like the weirdest
You
stuff
might
I've
get
ever
rich
seen is like when
Yeah.
people bring it in. So I definitely get that, but
We'll bring in ugly fish. All males.
Other people keep saying like, "Oh, sell to Dan's fish." I'm like, bro, I'm not trying to
No.
ship all my fish to him for 25% of the retail. Like, if I'm gonna ship fish to someone, I may as well sell it myself. You want me to individually pack every single fish and send it to Dan so he could sell it for $100 and pay me 25%? No, bro. First of all, I'm contributing to high priced fish at that point, and second of all, if I'm gonna do the work of shipping it, I may as well just sell it. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
No, you might as well just make an eBay page.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense at all. I never call out sick since I work from home. May as well make money when I'm sick and can't do anything. Yeah, no, I'm with you. I've worked from home a lot. I'm a video editor, so yeah, a lot of my stuff is home. She probably has eight strains of Daphnia. Do you have 8 strains of Daphnia?
I have 2, maybe 3.
Okay, that's.
I may or may not have Daphnia pulex. I need to look at it and identify it.
That's one of the. I feel like that's a name I recognize. What are the other ones you have?
Moina.
Okay, so that is a Daphnia.
They're in the same family. And then there's the Daphnia magna that people know, but like people seem to be calling Daphnia magna anything that's a larger Daphnia, so it's kind of like just kind of more of a category. But we got paramecium, vinegar eels, microworms, Walter worms, banana worms. The one that's really kicking off is the solid vinegar eel culture.
Yeah, I need
10 out of 10.
I need to do that. I really need to do the vinegar eels that climb, because even just the jar I did it by accident, I'm like, this is so much better. Like,
So much better.
so wait, you're
But you
culturing
do
them
have to wait a lot.
on rice?
I've got a bunch of cultures. So this one right now, this is the Walter. Banana worm. This is the vinegar eel solid culture. And we've got, it's starting to produce. This is a new one I started about a week ago.
Wait. Show me the one where they're climbing again. So just so everyone, we're looking at vinegar eels basically being kept like microworms, which is something I've heard people talk about, but
It took them a while to
seen.
transition between the two. Hold on.
Too many worms, man. Let me see, what are they
I
talking
blame you. You're the reason I got into
this
this
shit.
shit.
On the replay to sample the
I was just playing with vinegar eels.
Shrimp
Alright.
Pimp, you can ask a question if you want. I don't know, are you already in the Discord?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh,
So these are
Can you hear me?
vinegar eels.
I can. Nice.
Oh, hi, Ghost Shrimp. All those weird wiggly wibbers are mature vinegar eels. So you can grab those, just swipe them off.
I always seen them in bottles.
This one, you can see it's pretty clear as a culture. And then the cloudiness, that is all worms.
Are you using white?
What's the cylinder for?
That's all worms. So I was using these kind of like crafting mesh cylinders that are zip tied together to be able to change like the density of the hydration for some of my cultures.
What the hell?
It really does not need, this one does not need it.
Or what? I don't even understand what you just said. You be
Okay,
thinking too much. Change the hydration with the grid. Wait, how does that work? Okay, fine, go on.
Okay, so like if you look at this vinegar eel culture, right? It's kind of pretty liquidy. It could be less liquidy.
Yes.
Take a straw, you stick it down, The solids will stay on the outside of the straw, and liquid will move to the inside of the straw because of fluid dynamics. And then you can just remove liquid and not remove like the oats or the rice or the media. You can just remove hydration.
Wow. Science.
So
Hey, that's some free game. This is what I'm talking about. That's why you stay in the street.
also, banana worms.
That looks nice.
I don't know if I was sold like a weird culture or if this is like microworms in disguise,
Yeah.
or if these are banana worms themselves. Because
I talked to
these
one
are
guy that was like collecting all the different microworms and stuff, and he said there is a lot of variation. So I do need to
there's a
send
lot
you,
of variation.
I do need to send you my culture eventually, and so you can test it too.
But it's like these guys, these are Walter worms. This culture is maybe like a month old after
Yeah,
starting.
and they're still climbing
It's,
pretty well after a month too.
no, it's just ramping up now. Like this is the ramp up.
Okay, okay.
I have yet to scrap any of my cultures. I might. None of them have gone bad yet.
Yeah, they don't. I don't really see them like go bad unless the moisture gets wrong.
It's more of like keeping the ratio
Yeah.
happy. Like this one is a microworm
quick-
culture.
Real quick, just so you know, Shrimp Pimp is in here.
Oh, hi, Shrimp Pimp.
I don't know if you noticed. They asked if
Hello.
they could ask us a question.
Yeah, sure, shoot. Just having
I was
fun.
gonna ask, what is the story of that painting back there? It looks so interesting.
Essentially, high school art project from very small captain. I was doing like a study on Japanese folk tales, and that was one of them. And now I've turned it into basically. I don't know if you guys have played Minecraft before, but you can put a painting over a door to like put shit behind it. Like just use it to like hold stuff together. But it's the story of the Crane Maiden, the Japanese folktale. But that's kind of like what the media concept was.
Is it watercolor?
It is mixed media watercolor, yes, on canvas with glue. I was being
Glue? Wait,
being
where did
like
the glue come in?
creative. Oh no, I mixed the watercolor with glue and then painted it on a canvas. I was 14. I'm bad.
Right, but was there like a purpose to the glue? Like, was it supposed to like as a gesso, or was it like supposed to be like mixed with the
You just did it
watercolor?
just cause.
I wanted to like try to have almost a resin-like effect. We didn't have resin back then.
Resin. Yeah. Oh, you mean
I
like
wanted to,
like matte or gloss? That's what you're saying,
no,
right?
more like it was a 3D effect.
Oh, I think I understand what you're talking about. I use acrylic paints, and to make a 3D effect,
Right.
it just already does that by its own. I see what you're talking about. It's you want the color to protrude out.
It's got like 3D going on.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Real fun. And it's held up very well.
I never thought using glue to make that effect. I always thought acrylic was like mostly what people would use to do that, or
No
like
worries.
or oil paints.
Yeah, I did a lot of. Let's see. Oops.
I can't even draw. What's going on here? What's
Oh,
You
I
became
think
an
I've
art
got
class,
a
my guy.
here.
Became an art history lesson. Listen.
This is just.
Yeah.
And also, wait.
I got a random chicken.
Oh, look of rooster.
That is a cool painting.
I made a painting of my goldfish that died.
Oh, rest in pieces.
There's a piece.
Mhm.
Temperate is talking shit, bro. Hey, I actually learned something in a live stream. Oh my god. That is like. So
What did they
crazy.
learn?
I think your stuff with the worms. It was something with the worms.
Oh.
Trust me, it wasn't anything I said.
Yeah, no, I'd be happy to do another stream with you going over random worms and shit. But once I get the vinegar eels fully like transitioned over into the solid media, I'll probably put some cultures online once I get the production up.
All right.
I think people will be really interested because like harvesting vinegar eels sucks.
It
And then
does.
like I have found that the little fry, they get scared of like the vinegary pH, the acidity, and they will just yeet themselves away from any kind of vinegar solution you put in there. So like these ones, even though it's really dense, like all of that clouding, that's worms. Look at that huge cloud of worms flying around.
Dang.
Delicious, tasty, nutritious.
No, I can
On
see it.
rice.
I can see it because the
For rice eels.
density in my one vinegar eel culture is not what I'd like it to be. I feel like it's pretty sparse.
Yeah, this is wild. It's gone feral. I love it. Um, I have noticed though, if you're getting like a mother of vinegar layer on top, increase the pH or reduce the pH,
So
make it more vinegary.
add more, like pour it out, add vinegar.
Meh, you don't have to pour it out. You can just add
Well,
more vinegar.
If there's not more
If you have the head,
space,
yeah. If you need more space, pour some out, but like
Okay.
collect from the bottom
I might need to do
because the
that for
worms won't be at the bottom.
my moldy one.
Yeah, collect from like the bottom. But try not to get too much of the vinegar.
So do they only eat vinegar?
They eat a lot of stuff.
Yeah, what do they need? Why does vinegar have to be involved? Does it really have to be
Vinegar
involved?
is in there to help like preserve both the food, but then also like it creates an environment that the vinegar eels can live in that other things can't. So it's more like they survive because they can tolerate it rather than they're surviving off the vinegar alone.
This kind of sounds like why some of them I've been saying a lot of microworm cultures suck because they like just pour water in it and it's like a soup. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I
they
would
just-
love to debate with you on because I know I've heard what you said frequently being like, oh yeah, the yeast just makes it CO2 and then they're like, I can't breathe, so
true.
they climb up the wall.
It's
So, like,
true.
yeah, there is an element of truth to that, but I would like to believe that
I
they
mean,
are eating and multiplying.
They eat the yeast too. They eat the yeast too. But I'm just saying it doesn't make that
Like,
big of a difference long term
this
for
is
me.
2 days after like arrival.
Yes.
I've just been giving them yeast every day.
Yeah.
I
Well,
think they're multiplying.
the yeast is gonna make them climb. But there's so many
Like-
more worms in there than you think. That's the thing.
No, but this is the cult. This is what I got in the bag from the culture.
Yeah, I can put I can
Oh,
split
many
I can
worms.
split one of my cultures with no yeast into oatmeal and it will be all the way up to the lid with no yeast. If I just start a
Yeah.
new culture.
Maybe you just have really happy worms.
I am the micro what was I calling myself? The microworm meister? I forget.
Yeah. But I don't know if these banana worms are actually banana worms or if they're like labeled as banana worms, but they're actually microworms because
You-
they like these ones think. Like
You got to put them under a microscope. I mean, I don't think I don't even know.
I know.
No,
I've got to unwrap that
microworm,
microscope.
they do have a species attached to them, but like
Tubipex something or other.
no one's checking.
This
Temperate
Walter
says,
worm culture,
I always thought the best way to do vinegar eels was a wine bottle with a thin neck. How do you feel about
we've
that?
got those too.
Okay.
Hold on, let me pull that out too.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I might have contaminated the Walter worm culture, and it might be a weird hybrid Walter worm vinegar eel culture. I'm okay with that, but I don't think I can sell it as Walter worms only.
Bro, sell it for whatever you want.
I'm like, so
you
this
coulda-
says
you could
Walter.
bought Walter worms, and they could
Alright.
be microworms for all you know. Yeah.
It might be hybrid vinegar eel. And in the hybrid vinegar eels, you might have some stray microworms. Who knows?
Okay.
I don't drink, but my dad does.
All right.
This is the classic vinegar eel. We got a sponge with a little piece of foam keeping out
that
the
looks pretty good.
yummy at the bottom. And they don't need that much like of an acidity level. They can basically live in fresh water, but they can also live in battery acid.
What I'm hearing is like there's a lot of room to explore better ways to culture them. That's what I'm hearing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's exciting. That is actually exciting. Hey,
What do you
Alright,
think
they
will
go-
happen if someone chucked that down?
Nothing.
actually,
They would die.
I was reading about this.
They can pass through you sometimes, but
Was it vinegar eels or microworms? There's like a Thai dish that like one of those two worms is like a key part of because it makes it like sour or something.
It'd probably be vinegar eels.
It feels like vinegar eels, but also if you've ever had like wine that's a little old, it can be in that too. So we've all probably drank vinegar eels.
Probably vinegar eels.
Yeah.
Or if you use a siphon, you've probably sucked vinegar eels at one point.
I have not starting siphons with my mouth.
Can we put that as like a badge on Discord? Be like, siphon sucker.
No, I'm not sucking the siphon. I use one of the syringes or something.
Python Overlord. Oh, baser.
Yeah, I don't know this science contraption. Like, bro, this is.
Oh, like with the weird, the thingy.
You do too much thinking for me. I can't keep up with this. It's too neat too. It's like the zip ties.
But it works really well.
Yeah, I mean.
The forbidden water.
They stink real bad.
Now, Shrimp Pimp, what is the history behind your name, Shrimp? Like, are you really pimping?
I have no idea. I came up with something, but then I lost it at some point.
I thought you were really pimping these shrimp.
Ooh.
I think that was just a username I put on TF2, and I just kept with it.
It's a good one.
Yes.
That's vinegar eels.
It's going.
Is the line
slowly.
like the thick clumps? Are those eels?
The clump one.
That's why you need the headlamp, bro. We gotta strap it on.
Yeah, this clump line is eels.
Okay.
We have a little bit too much water, so I could go in there with a little pipette and remove some, but I'm hoping that it'll solve
do the straw thing, right?
I could.
Okay.
But I don't want to make another straw because I'm lazy.
Wait, okay, so you're making the straw out of what again?
I could do the straw thing with a straw, but it's like you have to put it in there at an angle. You have to go about it, otherwise you spill.
All right. He pimps out those orange-eyed Galaxy Tigers for $10 a week. Yo, that is so cheap. Damn, you're pimping the cheap.
Other news though, get yourself a flower vase from someone who has flowers and use it to put your turkey basters in, because everything else will fall over.
I prefer to lose them on top of a tank somewhere and never find it until I go to the tank again.
I bought this cat basket on I think AliExpress, and I put all my stuff in that cat basket, and it's on top of my tank.
Nice, bro. Can you buy some brine shrimp eggs off there too for us?
Did you make everybody? So it's like the waiting window 2 weeks now for brine shrimp eggs.
I think
foods.
I'm taking credit, even though it definitely wasn't me. I'm taking credit for the Biney brine shrimp eggs selling out multiple times and now having a 2-week wait for them. Since I told everyone they're the same as the aquarium co-op eggs and they're on Amazon. BNYEE.
They happy microworms.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. That's that good.
Yeah.
I need to make more cultures.
I've been
because for 1 week I had 10 cultures that all looked like that. I felt like a god, a microworm god.
You feel No, this is just like a reserve. I should probably switch this out instead of microworms. I should make.
I lost my mother culture. I don't know where it is. I said it somewhere.
Probably on a fish tank somewhere.
I know. Have you
You're gonna find it. There's
have you
worms.
Put spirulina powder or anything in there?
No, I'm worried that it's gonna sour.
No, it's usually fine. It's just funny because then they turn green and then the wall is green, climbing up. It's kind of funny.
I need to buy algae powders. It's just expensive.
I know. I need to find a cheap spirulina because all my research on when I finally get back to food stuff, it's
algae are the best.
Spirulina powder, bee pollen are all interesting things to look into for trace nutrients.
I'm so mad at myself.
Immune system stuff.
I added New Life Spectrum Plus powder food to my mix, and it just made everything bad. Nobody wants to eat it.
Yeah, that's what the SoFly Black Soldier Fly Larva Flake from Extreme was for me. I knew the moment I touched it that the fish. I'm telling you, I could touch a food and tell if the fish are going to like it. The moment I touched that flake, I was like, they're gonna hate this shit. It felt so bad.
Have you tried the Aquatic Food Inc. sinking wafers yet.
No, but I do want to
I was
order
looking for those.
their magic food, magic small feed, whatever.
You got a
Yeah.
grindle worm jar somewhere in there?
I do not. No, I don't have anything big enough to eat grindle worms, except I've got like 3 9-inch goldfish. Big old fuckers. Huge. But I feed them frozen.
Multi-worm culture, that's value, Temperate says. So see? You have multiple
Yeah,
worms in
no,
there.
I'd be like Walter worm, vinegar eel, micro worm, excellent worms.
They also said, suck that siphon. It builds your immune system. Pause. I may have taken, Lumi
Yeah, you
says I
suck
may
the
have,
siphon, then you drink those.
and then you pimp the shrimp.
Yeah.
I may have taken an extended lunch to play in my pond. It was 70 degrees outside. Is that warm
Yay.
enough to
That's
play in the
fun.
pond? I feel like the water still be cold.
I mean, you just splash around. But yeah, banana worms. I thought that they would be less dense because apparently they're supposed to be smaller than Walter worms. These ones sink like a rock.
Oh, wow.
Not small.
Because with the microworms, I found like they do sink, but they do get kicked up pretty
But they
decently.
sink.
They do sink, but they get kicked up. Like usually they're in the water enough that like the Procatopus and stuff, they get some before it sinks and stuff like that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like a sinking pellet.
But Walter worms, though, I found that like they stay semi dispersed in the water column for a while. So I don't think it would be good for like
They're
bottom
vinegar
feeders.
eels in disguise.
Very close, but they're not because I
Do
could
they swim
like
this
vinegar
like
eels.
that? Do they wiggle?
Vinegar eels look like a sperm. I hate to say it, but they do.
I've never looked
Um,
that close, so.
They got a little bulb, and then it's like the little flagella, and they just hang out at the top.
See,
Walter,
you
the
know
Walter
too many
worms look like
science
worms.
words. I just
They
feel like I
look
got a
like the
spinal god.
same thickness all throughout, just look like a nematode. So I know they're different, but I'm like,
Wait, you're saying they literally have like a thicker
they have like a
head?
head.
Ew,
The vinegar eels, yeah.
I don't like that.
Well, look, you have vinegar eels. Just go look at them.
No, I'm good.
But the Walter worms and the microworms, they all have the same kind of like worm type, just same thickness throughout.
But the other one, it's like you see in your tank and you got to post on Facebook immediately. What is this? Should I
Like the
be
other
concerned?
one, like if I saw a vinegar eel while we were doing a cheek swab in science class, I would have questions. That happened. It was terrible.
Talk.
It wasn't me. It
God.
was another girl.
Oh my god, bro. I can't even speak on that.
Yeah, but it just
That's terrible. That is horrifying. Don't swab.
I went to all girls school,
I don't
bro.
want to swab anyone. I don't want to know. I used a bucket hose holder clamp things for my basters that helps me not mix them. My turkey baster is on the floor covered in dog hair. That's like mine, but cat hair. I just had to deal with the brine shrimp direct eggs. I believe, those eggs are terrible. Beam ye egg supremacy. I've been hashing the big.
You know, I'm back from that old generation where we would decapsulate our own eggs. We just put them in bleach for like 5 minutes.
I don't need to.
And
I use the off-brand Aquarium Co-op brine shrimp eggs. They separate perfectly. Yeah.
Getting the nice eggies.
Yui says.
So yeah, maybe I might try another seller of the banana worms.
Are you gonna put them under the microscope?
Yes, I need to unbox the microscope.
Yui, how would you pronounce UIO?
Yo?
Yo. Oh, sure. I'll go with that.
Yo?
Yo.
Uyo.
Says hello. Uyo. Uyo? What did you say?
Uyo.
Uyo. Okay. It says, hello. What fish do you keep? I'm new here. But your list is simple. With the fish that you keep.
Oh. I've got rice fish, Madaka rice fish, goldfish, many isopods. I have a bucket outside, the tub of pods, the pod tub.
The
Got a
isopod
variety.
agenda's finest warrior.
I'm creating the equivalent of a Taiwanese bee shrimp which is the heathenistic mutation. Just everyone get in a pile. Who's pretty?
Oh my god.
And then
She's
we've got
creating
Conrad's Black
Podzilla.
Pod. MB, it's Podzilla.
The
But we don't
designer.
actually know who can hybridize, so it's like, eh. But I have 2 sheds, one from the Garden of Eden and then one from Conrad's. So hopefully I'll be able to look at those under a microscope.
Yeah, I'm excited
They're in
for that.
alcohol right now. So.
I'm definitely excited. I keep a bunch of fish, but I'm really into killifish. I'm really into a lot of West African fish. I really like Crebensis, pelvicochromis. What? Are you just saying yo?
I'm reading the comments of like how to pronounce.
Oh, okay. Yu-Yo.
Yu-Yo.
Yu-Yo. So it just sounds like Yu-Gi-Oh to me in my head.
I didn't say it. It wasn't me.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
I like just take the Geo. Oh.
I love
here.
like characters that yell names all the time. Like I love like Sasuke. Like there's just some like cartoons or anime where it just feels like someone's always yelling the same name over and over again for like a whole episode. It just gets stuck in my head.
I mean, they did that with Pokemon names. In Japanese, they actually have sounds, but in the American version, they just like Pikachu.
That's really weird. And I feel like I'd be disturbed to hear Pikachu make a sound that wasn't Pikachu.
It wasn't Pikachu, yeah.
It like, like what the fuck?
There's one that's just a man screaming, if I remember right. Some Pokemon named Guzzlord is just some guy screaming.
Yeah.
That's
I'm usually a subs over dubs person, but in this case, I'm cool with
It's okay.
Pokemon names.
I think in both he's still screaming.
Someone has to keep this kid in line. He gets a little controversial at times. Honestly, I don't know why I made this name on YouTube. Well, I'm not even gonna try to pronounce it. Then you don't even care. You don't even
It's
care.
okay. It's
You just hit the
Yu-Yo.
letters. Now you want me to pronounce it right? No, I'm joking. I can't believe you're imposing your pronunciation onto me.
We just do our best. We
No,
try our
I'm
best.
calling them Yu-Gi-Oh. I had got my cultures from that fish guy's place. From the fish guy's place.
I have to try that.
The fish guy, is that a place? Like, sorry. The fish guy's place.
I've gotten most of my cultures from eBay. Nobody local sells stuff. Like, there's that one 6th Avenue aquarium that like is about to decompose before my very eyes and or explode in ick. We've got those, and they sell blackworms, daphnia, and brine shrimp. But none of the other live food options are available. Nobody's selling green water.
I love blackworms a lot.
Yeah,
You
they
really
just
good.
bummer
You
with the
blackworms?
leeches. Yes, we have blackworm breeding tub outside. It
Is it
does
worth it?
okay. No, like if you're just feeding one fish, it's okay. But I don't think
don't like them.
unless you
I
really
like
invest.
white worms. I'm starting to really like white worms a lot because they're just so
Yeah.
huge. They see when a fish eats it, I feel like it does the work of like 10 anything else, you know.
Yeah.
But then that makes
No,
me
it
not
does
want to
any-
feed it very often, though. Like I am
White
scared of
worms
feeding
are the
too many
worms.
white worms, for sure.
Don't you need to put it like in the fridge or something, right, for them to like reproduce?
I think Pringles definitely they need it colder.
Some people
But
say that
I don't the larger worms. Just I don't have anything
the
that can
white
eat it.
worms, they're reproducing enough for me to feed them to my needs, and I just throw them around all over the place. So I'm not getting.
What's the usual temperature in your home?
Whatever. I think it's like 70 down here right now. Most of my tanks are actually at like 68 degrees, unless they're up higher. Actually.
Do you have heaters in every single one of them?
Nope.
Just a few?
It's all cold water tanks.
They're cold. Everything is.
And how is your room is 70 and your tanks are 78? That makes no mathematical sense.
I mean, water is like it's harder to warm up.
I said so lower down in the room. Some of the a lot of the tanks are 68.
Cold water tanks are on their bottom, right? Yeah.
Um, and then up higher they can get 70. It depends on you got a lid, what how much heat the light is putting out. If you put a light that gets hot, like the fluval lights get so hot, you put it on a tank that has a lid, you can get it to like 78 so easily without a heater.
Just the light.
Yes, and if it's high enough in the room. But a lot of my I don't heat any of my tanks really, except for the ones with the rams in them. But a lot of things have been breeding at 68 degrees, so.
Oh yeah, 68 can totally breed stuff. I keep the rice fish at 77, and that's just the best temperature for hatching out.
Yeah.
Breeding.
That's the only thing I don't like about it is like, yeah, stuff does hatch a lot slower, but I would say that's probably my most controversial fish keeping thing I do right now that I don't really talk about is just like the I don't really worry about temperature at all, like ever. Pretty much. There's been times when it's like negative 10 degrees outside. I have a space heater down here that I'll turn on. Like in those situations, like I'm not that unconcerned, but just like a lot of my tanks will be at 68 degrees, and
some people can tolerate being cold. Some species are really
worried. Yeah, some people are worried about that, but I also intentionally don't keep fish that don't have that somewhere within their range.
Yeah, I don't like using heaters. It's just one more thing to go wrong.
I would rather my fish be stressed out and be cold than like the heaters. I've had them fail. Like I'm new to the hobby, and I've had more than one heater fail. Like,
shit, I'm sorry.
And that is like goes to how unreliable they are. They have such a high failure rate that if you have 40 tanks and you even just have 10 heaters, at least one of those heaters is going to fail. Yeah. And like, bro, I'm sorry, the Eelheim, like the glass ones with like the blue on top that you're supposed to be able to calibrate, they're garbage. Give me the preheated 50 watt, 78 degree heater. I like those. No. They're actually more reliable.
I like getting the Heiger ones, German brand.
I love Heiger brand.
Yeah. They have, I want one of their heaters in particular. A lot of them have an auto cutoff switch, which is just basically, it's a mechanical cutoff switch. So it's a piece of metal that when it's heated, it deforms. And when it deforms, it either breaks a circuit or completes. I think it breaks a circuit. So it will physically cannot get hotter than a certain point.
That sounds genius.
I
have the affiliate link.
Will do. But I have it set up so it's like we have a temperature probe comes through, and then the heater itself is a separate unit. There's like the more stuff you start putting in that tiny little shell, the more things can start cracking. I'm just not into it.
Yeah. I like heaters as like a tool. Like I want to make a change and heat this up like for a temporary time. Or one thing that if I was going to use it regularly, which I've done is like I hook the heater up so like it's on the same thing as my lights. So like at nighttime it turns off. Because I think that keeping fish at like one temperature all the time is probably like bad for the health somehow. Like there's
I just assume that there's micro fluctuations in the room based off of the.
Yeah, I think that it's nice like to have it where sometimes it's cooler, sometimes it's warmer, especially with stuff like the isopods where the heat really makes them die faster.
Oh, yeah. Wouldn't it be safer to put a heater into a filter?
I think you could, if the filter like has space for it. If it's a hang-on back filter, you probably could.
There's some that have them built in now that I've seen popping up.
You can get some. I don't think you should put it in a canister filter. That just seems like you might cause a leak. I know a lot of people do put it right next to their filter output to kind of disperse the heat, but that can also cause your heater to malfunction because it thinks it's too cold all the time, and so it creates like a burnout spot.
Interesting. I definitely do have when I've used my heaters, they are closer. Not necessarily right in the outflow.
Kind of like behind the output, so it's like ambiently warm and it kind of just trickles heat through.
Did I see that like it's also like good to like tilt the heater so it's not like directly heating on itself or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think part of it is like when they say if it's like a heater is perfectly vertical, it's creating like so much the temperature turbulence that's going on is in fact disrupting the amount of heat that can be dispersed. So when you have it diagonal, there's more like water that can go up and over it rather than just go. Cat's meowing.
That makes sense. And good night, Jeff. Good night, Jeff. Thank you for helping.
Good night, Jeff.
SC says the preset Tetra 50 and 100 are solid small heaters. I do like preset heat. I've started to like the preset heaters just because, yeah, they just seem to be more accurate than the. As we're talking about cheap heaters, than a lot of the other cheap ones you set the temperature to, but I like using underpowered heaters anyway. So what you're saying makes a lot of sense.
Like I appreciate underpowered heaters. I can understand the appeal. But at the same time, if you have an underpowered heater that's just running at its max, trying to keep up the minimum heat temperature, or sometimes they're just like a wattage where they're just like on 50 watts all the time.
Just for me, I haven't had that issue, but all my tanks also have lids that are pretty tightly, or I have the greenhouse stuff cut to it, and I think lids are super underrated. Like,
I lid for most fish.
I love lids, but like the fish jumping thing is one thing, but like, man, the heat retention, the difference is astonishing. You take the lid off, it's like
no evaporation.
It's 8 degrees cooler.
Yeah. You haven't seen the King of DIY video where one of his lids like increased the power of one of the lights?
I know, but I also don't watch. I don't watch him too much. I'm also like, again, I've been doing less than 2 years, so a lot of like the YouTubers that have been around, like I'm still catching up on like content, you know.
You think the best light you can get is like a shop light or an outside shop light, like cheaply?
I love the shop lights. I'm trying to switch. I just like how they look, and they're brighter. And you get a pack of like 6 for like $30, like the Barina like shop light, and you put them on the Bluetooth timer, like.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I use it. That's one of the things that Corey shills for that I love. The Bluetooth. He is so right. The Bluetooth timers. I'm like trying to get rid of all my lights with built-in timers. They suck. I love having on one Bluetooth timer.
You mean you don't like that as it slowly creeps forward?
Oh, the old like. No, I got it from my
what's
phone.
That weird tapping noise?
I adjust my schedule from my phone. Yeah, no winding the timer. I couldn't even figure out that. Like, I got some setup from some guy. I had one of those in there, and I couldn't even figure out how to use it. I'll be honest.
Yeah, they're like, okay, we're gonna push all of these down. No, push them up.
Yeah, we got members of the no heater crew in here. You can get the Oase Biomasters with a heater in them.
To worry about.
Okay, apparently there's a very expensive canister heater canister filter that has a heater in it. Oase Biomasters. Yeah.
You want to take a new mortgage out on a canister filter?
Yeah, I'm seeing 200 to 280, basically.
I mean, for a big tank, maybe. But the last time I put a heater in my goldfish tank, they were really sick. We were like helping them recover from life-threatening illnesses. Put the heater in there when they were together and all healthy, and suddenly we got spawning behavior. So no more heater. No more heater. We do not want goldfish spawns. It was really gross.
Really?
It was very gross.
I don't want to know.
That bad.
Yeah, the water gets loud.
I don't want to know.
I'm like, what did you do? No more heater. No more heater.
Bro,
I wasn't even able to see their eggs.
They ate them because he's a menace.
Oh, nice.
I was like, I'm not raising 400 goldfish fry. We're not doing this.
Yeah, goldfish, like, they're one of the common fish that I haven't been able to find love for yet.
Ooh, it has hops. Yeah, no, like,
I have second-hand ones that are still working.
Yeah.
Oase has hang on backs. I've heard of Oase. I don't feel like I've seen many of their products in person. Like, I'm not too familiar.
I'm too poor.
Yeah. You need to sell more worms. You need some more worms.
Worms, man.
Oh my god. Okay, Shrimp Pimp. Any last words? I need to wrap this up. I gotta clean my
Yeah.
room. What was that?
I said yee. That is my last word because I have nothing better to say.
Come on, bro. You could have come on, like stay pimping, baby. Like you need like a
Right.
catchphrase.
He just changed his name. Now he's motherfucking shrimp.
He's wait, what's his
Ye-
name?
Look at his Discord name.
MF Shrimp.
He was Ghost Shrimp like 2 seconds ago.
Anyway, okay, chat. Last thoughts, last comments. Anna, last thoughts, last
He just
comments.
does these puffers and the pistos.
Yeah.
I mean, keep on streaming.
There's
Best of
only
luck.
one beer left.
I'm
What is it?
rooting for your success.
Oh god. Oh god, keep on streaming. I don't need to torture these people with my yapping. That's why I gotta bring on the other people so I can
On the
just
streets or no.
on the streets are no factor. Hey,
Holy fuck.
bro, yo,
Product for that.
someone needs to like now create a comic about a shrimp pimp. That would be wild. Factor A. Get it out. Throw it out. Throw it out right now.
Using the jar.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for live.
Bye, Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yu-Gi-Oh. Thank you for
Yu-Gi-Oh.
joining us. Thank you for joining us.
Just
This
gonna
was,
keep trying our best to pronounce things.
yeah.
All people can ask of us.
You want your biofilm fertilizer? Get out. Scuds for all. Okay, now you people are just trying to trigger me. Listen, this was a very good stream. Thank you,
Had fun time.
Captain.
Go pay Captain Peroxide. Give her something nice.
Yes, thank you, Captain Peroxide. Shrimp Pimp, thank you. I feel like we got a lot done. Hopefully, I didn't say anything I feel like I did nothing controversial this stream, honestly. Yeah, I think I'm good.
I think we did good.
Yeah, no drama. So, boring.
I know, we just need to talk about more worms. That's how we,
Yeah,
that's
more
how we do.
worms. We will catch you next
You should make a
time.
worm stream. That'd be a good one.
Yeah, I do. I technically filmed a microworm video that I just haven't edited. But I did film it.
Now you need to do Daphnia.
Help me shout out people in the chat that were active.
Jeff.
Okay, Jeff. Shout out Jeff. Joey
Temperate
P.
Tank.
Just call them all siphon suckers and they call it
The siphon suckers, bro.
Just call them all siphon suckers.
It's good.
Yo, the chat is all a bunch of siphon suckers. That's what we're saying. We're waiting for the tank to leak. Boring. Oh, hey, I got another 20-gallon long to set up, so that might be the next stream, honestly. That shelf there that has a cube and a 10-gallon, I'm gonna move them and put a 20-gallon.
Did Petco find out after Corey posted that? Everybody hit the Petco type thing, or like when did they catch on?
I don't know when it was a few hours, like. But Corey's post was late. I think it was like starting to get caught places by then when he posted.
Because I know you guys were like, I think Aaron was like pulling up to the
yeah.
and just running in.
So no, some people got takes in the Discord for trees.
He's like twice.
I have my Hyundai Elantra is full. It has 5 20-gallon longs in it right now. So I really can't. I mean, I did just buy a 10-gallon, but still, I really can't be just getting $5 tanks. I already got tanks. So
you need to build more racks. Go take your dad out and do something nice. Maybe he'll build you a rack.
I just added that shelf up there. I don't think I'm gonna put a tank up there, but I did.
That doesn't feel safe.
It is.
It looks like you just put a table on top of a shelf.
I mean, that's basically what I did, but I did that over there too.
Did you like affix it? Is it like fixed in there, with extra brackets?
One earthquake just gonna drop on top of his head.
No, these I did. Look, I talked to my dad. He did all the math with the weight and stuff. And he was like, "It's cool."
Okay.
He wears glasses. I mean, come on.
I
Put
will
a
trust a
put a
man
pencil
wearing
behind you.
glasses.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
He
All
knows
right.
how to use a slide ruler. We're good.
Wait. Okay. Yu-Gi-Oh! Temperate Tanks, Empire of Dirt, Jeff,
Sarah
Shrimp,
was really
Imp,
active. Jeff was active.
yes, SC, Couple of Fish, Lumi, Bravo. You hopped in there every now and
Dude
then.
named my tanks. He was there.
If my tanks,
Some
just
dude.
oh whoa! I missed just one more fish saying I have 200 tanks and a 2,500 gallon pond. What the hell? You better have some good fish at that table.
Invite him to the stream. Or her.
I feel like you need to consume more content and experiment a little more. I wonder if you're saying that to me. I keep a lot of my experiments to myself. I think that's part of the problem. I do.
Well, no, that's good. That means you're not oversharing sensitive information.
Just like the
For the most part.
level of things I do and things I make content out of. Like I need to have more content, but it's like okay, I'm now approaching 40 tanks. I have posted zero.
Pranking my sister with vinegar eels in her drink.
No, I've posted zero tank setup videos. Zero.
My plan to 20 made it through 7. Oh, I'm glad it made it through the earthquake.
Damn.
Yeah, we had one break. I lost like an inch of water. It was scary.
Just get the silicone on the finger. Just flip. It's fine.
No, like the wave went like poof.
I'd
And
fly
like
to
a whole
I'd fly to space in a just a silicone aquarium.
silicone's very strong.
Yeah, it's
You would
fine.
get squished.
If they used silicone, that SpaceX flight wouldn't have exploded.
Oh, I think we're supposed to thank Jan Ville Power for the silicone tanks. I think she used rubber, but like.
Oh, okay. Oh, Sarah the Great. Can't believe I forgot about. Oh, the 186 element. That's my favorite element. That's my favorite. What's element 186? Is that a thing? Element 186.
On the periodic table?
It is a movie.
Oh.
A sci-fi web series. Pilot. What? Okay, you know what? I'm not going down that rabbit hole right now. Branton.
Wait, was this same tank was this the tank that you just set up the other day that leaked?
No.
Don't rock.
It was a 20 high. The leak is like at the very top, like even like above where you would normally fill it. But I was doing that duckweed thing, so I filled it up higher than I normally would, and I had forgotten that it.
Lame the duckweed.
Yes, I have a secret duckweed hack. I'll never tell anyone.
I was like, I believe you youngins are still going. I know
I know.
wrong.
I'm trying to end it, bro. I'm trying to end it, but like that. Okay, look. Thank you to everyone. This was great. Thank you to Rebecca, future Dr. Rebecca, for the topic. And
cheers to Rebecca. Great.
Yes. Cheers. I put her list of women to watch in the description, which I think was a great description. Melody thought it was ChatGPT. I was like, no, bro, I wrote that. Come on. She was like, wow. Anyways, that's like temporary what she said. I can't believe I learned something in a stream. All right, anyways, great talking to you all. We'll see you again at the next time. Leave a comment with any feedback, and hopefully we stay controversy and drama-free. I'm behaving myself. There's only positivity. You guys aren't going to get me to hate on things anymore tonight. Peace out, everyone.